when I got like 2 years after I got out, I used the DAV to help with um, like VA claims. So they helped me do my initial VA claim, and they do everything for free. But um, I can't. I told Dre this the other day, bro. I waited 2 years, and you miss out on like 2 full years of healthcare and any benefits that you could have had. You miss out on all of that. Dre been out for like 20 years, bro, and he hasn't done none of it. And I said, you got to get with. I sent him a contact. There's another company that does it also, but the DAV was always a good option for people to get started at least.
Well,
Oh,
now
that's
they
all.
have a whole department like dedicated to like in Kentucky. There's an entire section of the building that's all they handle are like claims and stuff and helping people get benefits.
Yeah, no, I was working with them out of Fayetteville, and then
Vietnam, oh,
I got it started. Oh yeah, dude, I got it started, and then worked with another company. But just healthcare wise, like at least in San Diego, and I know there's a lot of hate on the VA healthcare system, but at least in San Diego, it's really good down here, man. Like I have a spot right here in Oceanside, and there's another big hospital in San Diego as well.
you know why it's so good? Because what kind of military bases are predominantly around there?
Oh, bro, like the Navy, yeah.
Oh man,
The Air
I was just
Force,
about to
man.
say
Forces and Navy. Don't go.
Louisville's a scary place.
Where is it? San Diego. What'd you say?
Louisville is a scary place.
I said the
West
Air
Coast to
Force.
West Coast. Sorry.
What's up, Dre Millie?
I still haven't. Well, I called and spoke to some people, but I still haven't followed through after that conversation. We had that weeks ago too, right? But talked to Comer about it and everything. Like every time we bring
Yo,
it up, I
hey,
feel like a noob.
shoot me a message, man. I will literally put you in contact with our contacts at the DAV, and that's at the headquarters. So, like, they'll push shit through.
I'm shooting you a message right now. The message says a message.
If you guys are launching like a VA crypto coin, like no, bro, that was my first crypto scam was a VA. I was like, yeah, fucking put in there. I'm gonna invest back into the VA, and these fucking veterans fucking scam, bro. They freaking pull the liquid out. I'm like, damn, they be like that.
Yo, I got scammed by some veteran stuff too. When I was moving out to
Those
California from
aren't real
Ohio,
veterans.
I went to I went to have my cars be shipped, and um, the guy who was supposed to ship my car was like a veteran shipping company. Of course, that's why I used it, and I ended up paying like he almost got me for like $2,000 because I put a down payment down on shipping my cars, but I only ended up paying a down payment for one of the cars, and dude never showed up. Hit me with all types of BS. Hospital, my daughter, da 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 da. I'm coming next week. Never showed up, and just ended up getting me for like a couple $100, $600 on trying to ship some cars out. It was nuts.
You had his name. I mean, it's easy to find someone's house with their name.
Man, you already know. My wife is a detective, bro. She found his wife, her job, his job, they kids, they like everybody was caught up. So yeah, we went that route. I won't speak about that, but yeah, it was nuts.
Look, she doesn't even have to be a detective. If you wrong a woman, like they are the best detectives on the planet when they are pissed
Hundred
off.
percent, 100%. They got Bruce Wayne beat by a mile, bro. Greatest detective.
See, there's some I don't know, man. I mean, women are great detectives, but there's some TikTok geolocator dudes that are pretty impressive. You send them one picture, they could geolocate you anywhere on in the world. I did see one female geolocator was really impressive too. She could find it anybody. There's also this whole side of TikTok that like connects people. Like you say connect me to this person, right? And they find some way that you're connected through people. That shit's interesting, but there's a whole community of geolocator trackers, bro. They like amateur trackers, and you'd be surprised how much data you leave online and how much history and how much information you've put online for somebody to easily find out where you're at, what you're doing. You don't even need to be a professional. Like Dre's saying, his wife probably track anybody in here. Like there's amateur trackers. And, damn, bro.
Dude, you know how we found Monkey Drainer? Like the guy that actually made the Monkey Drainer script and like Drainer and all that?
No, how?
So, one, he's cocky, but like he posted a YouTube video a couple of years ago, and we literally, like, so when you find the geolocator people or whatever, it's pretty easy to do. So, like, Google stores all those image files, and you try to match that image file with like facial recognition software, kind of, and it matches the image. So, like, that's how you can find out where somebody's at. But that's how we found out where he was at in Berlin, was through a fucking YouTube video and a still screenshot of one of the places that was in it.
That's crazy.
When was this, dude? Because there's going to be technology coming out with AI that's going to be even crazier, especially facial recognition, man. It's gonna cross-reference every picture people have put online. It's gonna be able to identify people. I mean, the government's probably had this shit for 60 years already, and we're barely just now getting the AI powerful enough commercially to do some of this tracking, facial recognition tracking. I'm afraid. I'm not even afraid, dude. At this point, I know there's a lot online about me, and I put a lot online about me. Um, like I was in the army, they got my DNA. They've given me all kinds of vaccines. They've got my fingerprints. Like, bro, there's no hiding for me. There's, you know what I mean? Like I'm compromised already, bro. I'm no, I know, dude. It's funny your basic training that you like asking them what like you're in line and they don't tell you what the hell they're jabbing you with, and if you ask, they just tell you to shut up, and you're just like processed through like animals, bro. We had blood being drawn, and like some people they don't like the sight of their own blood. There's something within your I don't know. People faint when they see their own blood. They're not like they're okay with other blood, but sometimes you see your own blood. There'll be like kids. There's like dudes just passing out, and they're like escorting them out, and then the next, just Dre, you remember this shit, dude?
Bro,
What a traumatic experience. I was like, what is going on? And then they jabbing me next. The kid
they
just
would
out in
they
front
would
of me
sit you down on a chair,
and hold.
and it'd be two people on each side of you, and they just sticking you all at the same time.
Yes, bro, both arms.
Yeah,
Like,
they ain't even care. No type of efficient timing. They ain't want to wait it out. Let's just give it to them all right here, right now. Keep it moving. There was so many people passing out, like big ass, grown ass dudes, just hitting the ground mad hard, passing out from that stuff. It
Bro,
was
we didn't
crazy.
have the needles. We had the air guns with that little vial in it. Boy,
Damn, that's some Blade Runner shit. When did you get in?
I was DOD, so like our shit was a little different.
Oh yeah, yeah, a lot of little different. That's crazy. Yeah, no, it was nuts, man. It was nuts. They definitely didn't tell us what it was, or like Comp said, we had no idea what was going on. Just keep it moving.
This is for malaria. Okay, what is it? Shut the fuck up. Okay.
the funny thing is I have a lot less trust for for the government now. Like at the time I was like 20, 21, right? I'm rolling through like, you know, just ready to rock. But now I would question everything. At the time it just wasn't even a big deal to me, but looking back I kind of think of how crazy it was that I signed up to go to go do that, and then to be in those like cattle lines getting shots and all kinds of shit, dude. Now I question everything. I'll be like, "What is that vaccine? What is it?
Facts.
Ah, I'm not. You ain't giving me nothing."
Gave my body up. I'm at the point I couldn't even get tattoos. I remember that it was against the law to get a tattoo because my body wasn't mine. It was owned by the government. And it was like, if you don't have it coming in, you can't get one now. I'm like, what? So it
That's
was
government
crazy.
property, bro. You ain't gonna tag on government property. Oh man. All right, we'll get too deep into this, dude. Maybe it's refreshing from NFT talk sometimes to talk about how the government used us. Like, all right, what's up, Rose Jade? Let's get some peace in here. Let's get some Rose Girl peace. I got Rose Jade's new piece. It's beautiful. The AI animation on it is super cool. Um,
Oh, thank you, Compound. Appreciate it. Just everybody who likes retweets, that's just helpful. It's the bear, and for artists, you just put out work. You just hope that people like it or see it. But I'm really proud of this one. I painted this a while back, and then was struggling to figure out like how do I use AI, because that was my whole point of this series. But spent quite a bit of time talking to ChatGPT for it to create some AI coding for me to use in Python to apply, and then have an AI tool to make a video out of all the different frames. So um, for the folks that are old enough, like there's like this old school tile sliding toy. If you remember, it's like a little plastic toy with little number tiles, and you have to like solve the picture or numbers around. And so I was doing this piece of art here with that in mind. I had glitched it, and then I was going to undo the glitch so then you could see my painting at the end. So thanks for the mention. I was heads down yesterday trying to finalize it because I have a deadline of minting every 13th of every month. But it's fun to see what I can do with a deadline with art. But also just to mention, it's such good vibes coming out of the Artifact Town Hall, just to have that there. It does feel like very much like what we do here. So more good vibes, I think, flowing. But thank you again, Compound and Dre, just for hosting this, because it felt very similar, honestly, because we've been doing this day in and day out.
I love what you're doing with the AI. Actually, it adds a little bit of movement to it, gives it a little life. It's your own personal painting, but you're also attributing AI to it, so it's cool. And in the town hall, I think those are important. Like I said it in the chat, they're important because it's Cass has an artifact badge on there. That's an artifact team member. Like people do voice their concerns to us, and they can voice concerns to us. And we pass them along. Like if anybody's got any questions or anything like we can't answer, we'll pass them along, right? But we're not on the team, so it's important, like a face of the team, to actually to do that and give people kind of the ability to ask those kind of questions. But I'm glad that it went well, you know. And then everybody can come in here and ask anything you want here, and we'll see if we got answers. No.
That's what I said though, for real. Even right before it ended, I said that we got bad take every night. It came to fruition for that same reason, to be able to get things off your chest, to get ideas, comments, concerns, cusses, cues. I'm trying to think of all C words, but you get what I'm saying. Like, just talk about stuff. And I'm gonna be real. Like it seemed like even so, people request to have those type of community town halls put together so they can communicate how they feel, and then we get them, and nobody really says anything. It's like the same people talking and saying the same things. So I guess I'm wondering, like, where is the resolution? Because it doesn't seem like the communication is effective anyway. Or, they were like, yo, we need to have a place to do this. And it's like, I'm thinking like, damn, we got a place to do this every single night at 6 p.m., right? Like, okay, but let's have a more official place. I get that. Because like you said, Kaz is on the official team. He has a badge. And people can speak about exactly where they are and exactly how they're feeling. So they end up doing that. And it's the same people speaking, right? Like, we know Jack gonna come up and say something, as he does. I appreciate Jack for that, because the balance is needed. I come up and say something, Snap, Tevi. It's like the same people who in here saying the same things do it again. So I don't know. I don't know if it's actually doing anything, or people feel better because they officially have a spaces like that. But it just seems like it really didn't seem like it pushed that much of a needle to me, in my opinion.
What you think? Gotcha.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, bro?
I just wanted to jump in. Usually, right now is my quality time with the wife, but she's late from work, so that's why I usually can't hang out with you guys during Bad Take. But I just wanted to jump on and say, I love what you guys are doing. I see the consistency, and you guys give me the energy to keep going. So even though I'm not here, I'm definitely emoting in spirit. So thanks you guys for being pillars of the community, and I appreciate you guys, even though I'm not around much. But just know that I'm here in spirit.
Bro, that consistency is key, dude. I appreciate you. You're putting out art every day, right? Rose Jade's putting out art every day. Everybody in here is working on something every day. Kuro's out here daily. I see buckets out here daily. Everybody up here is here consistently working on themselves or and then it's just that's what's important, dude. So I'm gonna give you your flowers. You've been doing some dope shit for the community. You've been making covers and cards and just dope art for everybody. So don't get discouraged, bro. And I'm glad that our consistency is feeding like your passion and vice versa, man. Vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I see it, like, I'm a fanboy of Artifact officially, but the way that I look at it, I kind of feel like even without Artifact, I got to feel like I don't give a shit what they're doing. If I got to bring the utility and put the floor place on my back, then I'll carry the whole damn thing with me if I have to.
That's how I feel too. I appreciate you guys for real, man. Like you have been killing the game with those cards, bro. Even those final form ones, that shit was crazy, man. No, thank you very much because it is inspiring to have people come in from the community and do their thing. It does give that push at times where when you're burnt out. We all get burnt out, myself included, man. So when I see that and I see other people in the community, other individuals who are making their name and doing dope stuff with the IP and just super creative, it does spark up that inspiration for me. Like, oh, this is dope, man. This is what it's about. So thank you for that. And we do appreciate you coming up. Um, Sorry that your wife is running late, but I'm kind of happy because it's good to have you come up and speak to us, man. Right? Like, never really get this opportunity to share the stage and share the space, and I appreciate it for sure. Thanks, bro.
Yo, that reminds me of going to the Philippines when he mentioned bringing back value. If you guys heard me talking about it before, um, and then I just got a thought in my head is when you bring value here, really get good at what you're doing. Like I'm the way I am. I'm looking at everybody's stuff and I'm trying to learn all these small things from people. But I feel like what Gotcha Ghost is doing is he's really mastering his craft and whether or not somebody's working on AI or AR, like he's bringing his own path of what he, bring the value on what he's good at. Maybe that's what I should do too. It's kind of reflecting on myself. Maybe I should get focused in and really good at one thing and bring the value there.
What
But
is it that you want to do? Subscribe. That's a great
I'm not sure, man.
statement.
Because well, when I look at something like when I went to the province, you got all these amazing things that's happening. Like you got the airport coming in, you got the hotel, you got this amazing entertainment spot, and it's like everything has its value, right? And it all adds into this one collective place. And I'm like, how do I bring value to Artifact? Maybe I should get focused in one thing and just really provide value that way.
I agree. I know that's what I aim to do. I said this a long time ago in the creative space. I say it every time we talk about creators. Like I myself, when it comes to 3D animation and using Blender and Unity and all of those platforms, like I suck at that, right? So I don't, I try not to do a lot of things that I suck at all the time. So I'll stay away from it. But I know where my value is. It's doing these IRL events, it's having these type of conversations, is being able to bridge the gap from the people who don't necessarily like to utilize their voice, but can speak to certain individuals to get their point across. I love being able to connect those dots with and for those people. So that's definitely the value that I look to bring every day when we show up in here. So I would greatly appreciate it, man, because you are a valued individual in this community. I don't know if you know it or not, and maybe people don't say it enough. So I'll be one of the first to say it to you right here in front of everybody else because I mean it. So yeah, man, we would love it. I would love it for you to be able to home in and find that thing and be able to do it every day and bring it here with us and share it with us for sure. It'd definitely be our pleasure for you to do that. Kirill, you're not getting those dunks, man. So
Oh, no, sorry. Like, yo, I had something else I wanted to discuss inside of that room. I need to ask the room here if I'm being like a little bit forward. But yo, I'm gonna be straight up with you guys. At this point, like, yo, Bad Take has done more for this community than fucking any single person could have, right? So like initially there was supposed to be a DAO structure, right? And I'm not trying to say like anything weird or whatever, but I think you guys should be compensated just so that you guys can like I know you two want to focus more on this. And I think like because of the original structure where they were gonna have a DAO that was kind of gonna support like community efforts, I don't know if they would possibly reconsider talking to Nike about having some sort of community compensation for you guys. Like, I'm obviously doing my own thing. I shill the fuck out of the Nike stock. We are at $104. Okay, that means that I pumped it $4 by myself. So I'm fucking living La Vida Loca out here, baby. I spent some dividends today on the Doritos jacket and a Comme des Garçons pair of Converse lows, and like I'm good, right? So what I'm trying to say is in order to like extend this past like the small area that we're in right now, like it would be cool if they sent you and Compound all inclusively to like events so that we had a physical representation that wasn't Sideshow Sam fucking telling people to buy Nike stock. Like that's all cool and shit, but it's like at some point or another I'm getting banned from every room. Okay, we all know that. Okay, I'm okay with that, but we still need clone visibility. That's where I'm at.
Clone visibility. We do want to go to every event, man. We will go with or without artifact help. We'll go on our own just because we want to be there and we want to cover it and continue to build this community. I appreciate you advocating for us, man. You mean a lot to us. But we definitely want to cover every artifact event that we can make. Like I think the next big one will be Miami. Want to go out there. I hope they do another Miami function because last year Miami, I felt like brought a lot of people together, including me meeting Dre and me meeting. Actually, Miami is what sparked my whole like this community realizing everybody IRL is 10 times more dope than they are online. I met them all in Miami, dude, and I came back from Miami like, yo, we gotta do some shit. Like, let's go. So I hope they do Miami again, dude. It's an important. I'll be there regardless. I hope to see Buckets there. I hope to see you there, Kira. I hope to see everybody here. Everybody up here. I hope to see you there.
no, I get
Yeah,
what you.
bro. I got a whole house to myself. I am gonna have one guest or two guests, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna make sure I go to the CVS. I'm getting all of the fucking good smelling breast shit. I'm getting all of the shower gel for them. They're gonna shower. They're gonna fucking smell good around me. They're not gonna come around me smelling wassy. Okay, that's not gonna happen. I'm a Toronto man. I'm not shit in my home, and that's going to be my home for 4 or 5 days. And they're keeping it squeaky clean, baby, because that's what clones do. We're the cleanest collection on this planet, no matter what Block says. Okay, we don't care what he says. He needs to change that mutant to a clone ASAP. Not like he doesn't have to, but I'm just getting at him because that's what me and him do.
Block just found out today that I had a mutant, and he's like, "Well, what? I didn't know." I said, "It's
Bro,
my."
it's in your banner. How did they not know?
I said, "I just like to, I choose to rock clones because my mutants are ugly, but they like fun ugly. You know what I'm saying, Block? Let's go to let's go to Buckets, bro.
Yo, if you guys are actually pulling up to Miami, please let me know. I'm gonna be a part of two events. I'm basically helping to organize. I did already one in NYC. I'm gonna do two during Basel. One with OD Labs. We're gonna do another gallery slash party slash whatever pop up with merch and it's all gonna be augmented. It's gonna be pretty dope. As well as another more NFT focused party, with a bunch of communities. I'm helping organize with pretty major player involved as well. So I want to put that out there. So if you're wearing Dunks, you're allowed in, so buy Nike.
Oh, good thing I got them Panda Dunks, the white Vans of Nikes. You know what I'm saying? I got those. Hopefully, I'll have some CIRLs. I got 4 pairs of these CIRLs coming. I'm wearing them in Miami. I don't think our Air Forces will be ready by then, but
I
yeah,
do. I'm speaking that to existence. Keep that negativity away from this manifestation, bro.
I'm wearing.
Miami is in December. We getting those joints, but we definitely pulling up to Miami buckets, man. Like it's gonna be Miami was lit.
Bro,
Miami is a
the time I met you IRL was in Miami, like outside
yeah,
of NFT now.
yeah, yeah. Miami's gonna be. I met you. Didn't I meet you again? You came to NFT LA too, right? I
Yeah,
met you.
yeah,
You were there with Leap. I met
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, we definitely pulling up, man, for sure.
That'll be the day when people just look down into your shoes and you're like, "Yep, you're good to go." Nope,
Let me
nope, no money needed. Just you're good, bro.
let me scan your shoes real quick. Oh, it's got an NFC chip into it. Yep, you're a holder of that collection. It's verified on the blockchain. Come on in. Imagine reaching down to scan someone's shoe. No, I scanned my hoodie, bro. My NFC chip on my hoodie is tied to my clone wallet, and that should be enough. Oh man,
We need to have an event, man, like that for real. Not only speaking it, like we just need to have an NFC chip only event for all of once everybody get the wearables and all of that stuff.
Yo, there's other projects with NFC chip too, so that'll be actually dope and introducing other brands.
I I've watched an interview that Zaptio had, and that's their goal. Like as everything's pushed out with world merging, eventually artifact events. If you're wearing anything with the world merging chip in it, you could just scan it to enter. He said that in an interview, like down the road.
Wait. What items have the world merging chip so I can buy them now?
Everything but
Everything.
the hat. The hats
So
don't.
man really meant merging worlds when he put up those emojis. He couldn't have wrote that in text, man. You know how long it took me to figure that out?
Wait. Figure what out? What happened? I'm
The
lost.
merging worlds thing, man. Yo, somebody told me. I'm not gonna mention because I don't want to get cussed out again. But yeah, the B word guy, he told me that's what it meant. Because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So shout out to him. He's a community member as well. It's nice to have community members, even if some of us don't get along. It's just how it be sometimes.
I got a question for the people in here. How many people work in Unity? Like use that platform to create. You do, Kiro?
Yeah, because like I started going hard on the Unity stuff. I think last July or whatever. I won a IM Degen, and I started like messing with Unity, and then I got derailed, and I hit up Unreal, and now I'm back on Unity.
Damn. Are you creating stuff to go for the Vision Pros?
Yes, sir. I'm doing a Nike Fit tracking app uh, because I gotta pump my Nike bags. You know, I can pump it $3 with just saying it and nonsense that I say, but we gotta put something behind it. Just because, like, especially like I don't really wear anything but Nike or Nike subsidiary products, so I gotta fucking stick with my conviction here.
It's gonna be a long. They're giving us a long runway because they haven't dropped or not drop anything until the beginning of next year, or at least Q1. So between now and then, they're giving a lot of creators a long runway to be able to come up with those apps for it. So
Sorry, Kuro, I'm gonna pick up Nike at $90. I know it
Yo,
comes
bro,
with
as
but
long as you pick up Nike at any price, I don't care. Okay, as long as you have Nike and you're getting your dividends, and you spend those dividends on more Nike gear, so it pumps our bags. That's all I want. Like, I'm very transparent about pumping my Nike bags here. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. I'm always gonna pump Nike, and I'm always gonna pump Artifacts. Now I'm gonna pump Converse because it's a Nike brand as well. And I might even wear Jordans one day. But I'm still, to this day, I've never worn anything but a Jordan 1 because it has the best form factor and it fits the nicest with low cut socks and shorts. And I wear shorts in the winter. Okay.
Chiro's pumping Converse. You love to see it. Um, I got 2 pairs of Converse in the closet. One of them is like an extremely old pair of Converse that I wear to every festival. Um, and they're still rocking, man. They've been beat up though. I ain't wearing no nice Nikes to no festival. I'll tell you that, dude. I'm not gonna ruin the nice stuff. That's what the Converse are for.
Yo, honestly, I'm wearing nice Converses to the Azuki event just because I was told I might not get in with Dunks. So the Dunks I'll wear to the. Did you guys get tickets to skate the gallery?
Bro, they better let you in with Dunks.
No, they'll let you in, but like you guys got to understand, I'm a special situation. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm special. So like they already know if I come in with navy blue Dunks, I'm there for trouble. Okay, I'm definitely gonna be there for trouble. And right now out here, all I have is navy blue Dunks, so that means I'm going there for trouble. That's why I had to get these Comme des Garçons Converse collabs. Yo, speaking of which, are we doing like yo, did you guys any of you guys sign up for fits so I could get you guys verified? Or are we still gonna try and fade the young builders?
No, you need to send me the fit link again. I remember you talking about it. But is that the app that you send pictures?
Yeah, so it's kind of like an Instagram, but it's all for like clothing fits, right? So kind of like my idea is for us to go on there as like early supporters of the platform, get all the clones verified so all of our posts show up at the top so everyone gets FOMO and starts buying my Nike bags.
What if I don't have good fits yet? I'm still waiting for shit to come in the mail.
Bro, just don't put no pandas in the picture and you will have no problems. You think these guys have good fits, man? Have you seen bro, if I look better than them and I'm an old guy in just wearing black Nike gear, uh we already won. We're clones.
Oh man. Yo, Dre's got some fits though. He put a few together.
Bro, mans aren't even trying to compete with Dre. Dre is out of my category, okay? Yo, bro, I seen some of Dre's vests, and I'm like, who the fuck has fucking $1,500 to spend on a vest, man? And then I was like, you know what? He's tall. Taller people have more money.
Yeah. You made your rationale would throw me off so much, man. That's funny.
Bro, I know like usually I'm not very coherent or whatever, right? But it's like lately I just been noticing there are things that I can do. And I'm gonna do them because giving up is the one thing that we can't do because we've been fighting like a fucking downhill battle with sentiment, and we changed that sentiment. We turned that bitch upside down on them. Now, like, now what are they gonna do? What are they gonna fud? They're gonna fud me walking through the airport with my Nike SB sling pouch, my Nike SB backpack, all in triple black, uh, and my Nike fucking SB jogging shorts, my Nike SB socks, uh, in my Nikes. They can't fade me. It's all Nike all the time. I'm fucking obsessive about things. Like it's just like tomorrow I got to go pick up the picture of my bean printed on this Nike SB T-shirt that's brand new. I got to get my bad take fucking logo put on the front of it. Uh, I got shit to do because I'm gonna walk in there. I'm gonna look like I have exclusive Nike gear because I fucking invested in Nike. Okay, I didn't invest in Artifact. I'm a customer of Artifacts. Uh, and I'm a customer of Converse's. I'm not an investor in any of those two things. I'm only an investor in Nike. So I got to pump these Nike bags, baby,
What if
every day, all day.
what if Azuki signed like a deal, a partnership with Skechers tomorrow? What would you say?
Bro,
Are you wearing those
I will,
sketches?
You
I will
rock it?
slide until they sign a deal with Artifact, bro. I already told you guys this. By by whatever means necessary, I
Yeah.
am getting Azuki dunks. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
A and B person can be mad at C, but they're gonna see those shoes on my goddamn feet. I'll promise you that, bro.
Well,
I don't give up. If bro, I've
hold
been
on.
left for dead in a desert. I didn't fucking give up. I'm here to fucking pump my Nike bags, baby. And yo, the only way I see this going anywhere is if fucking everyone signs to Artifact and they get their luxury apparel through Artifact. Because that's the only way. It's the only fucking way. I don't care what anyone says. They could say whatever they want. They can have Kigu DAOs. They could have any fucking they could have demon DAOs. I don't give a fuck what you guys say. This is happening.
The
This
ape.
is fucking really going down. If I gotta pull up,
Hold on.
just like Benito told me to Paris to talk to him, I'm gonna fucking do it. I'll skip out on fucking Japan and go to Paris. I'm gonna DM him just to see if he's gonna be in town. Because I'm
Bro.
just gonna fucking only spend 2 days in Japan. I'm gonna go to the dinner. I'm gonna go fucking bike riding in Nara like I planned, and then I'm heading straight to fucking Paris, bro, to show my fucking bags.
I
Okay.
can't get the girl fired up no more, dude. I can't, dude.
Yo, talking about Chucks.
Oh,
That would
shit.
be a dope collab, right?
Check this out. So wait, the Bored Apes have Puma or something, right? And then Fuo has Adidas. We got the Nike shoes. So like Azuki Skechers, Azuki New Balance or something
No.
coming.
Azuki, Artifact, Nike. It's the only fucking way. I'm not putting on
I'm
anything but
kidding.
Nikes, baby. Bro, I told you guys the other day, my friend came over. He was wearing fucking Adidas. Guess what I did? I cut the fucking shoes, bro. They're in my fucking garbage right now. And I gave him a pair of fucking Nikes. Yo, bro, you come to my house and you disrespect the sanctity of my home with anything that isn't a pair of Nikes. They could be beat up Nikes. As long as they're fucking Nikes, you're welcome in my home. Anything other than Nike, I don't want to fucking see it, okay? I don't want to
Look,
see
I
no
just
fucking Under Armour. I don't want to see no fucking Puma.
Oh,
I
I
don't want to
forgot
see none of that shit, okay?
Reebok.
I'm a maximalist of the highest order when it comes to things I love and like, okay? I love and like you guys, so I'm a maxi on fucking Bad Take, bro.
What
I can
about
put on
bro?
my
What
own
about
fits, but I'll
jeans
put
and
on a
Crocs?
fucking Bad Take fit before I put on my own shit.
dude, Artifact needs to partner with New Balance so we can all get some kick-ass dad shoes. I'm just
No,
saying.
no,
All
no,
right.
no. Nike's only, bro. Nike's only. You might think it's fun because they put you guys in
Take one
clown clothing
stage.
for the
Take one
punks,
stage.
but you should dump that act and
Hey,
fucking
I
live your
lost him.
best life, man. You're playing yourself. Don't listen to Hemi. Hemi sold everything for a fucking shitcoin. I don't want to hear it from him either, man. Nike, 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 baby.
Wait,
Nike.
so the punks have artifact shoes. Those are pretty dope. I've seen
Nike
those.
announces that now using Luxor's blockchain. Nike,
Smart.
Team Nike, baby.
Yo, if Nike goes with Luxo, I go with Luxo. I got Luxo bags, but I'm gonna jeet that shit, bro. I already told you yesterday. I'm jeeting that faster than I fucking bought it, bro. I literally bought it because the Ethylorian guy kept on fucking. And then I seen his wallet and how many clones he has, and then I was like, all right, this guy's a fucking smart guy. I'm gonna fucking buy some Luxo, bro. I will buy shit based on what you hold in your wallet. If you hold like assets I like a lot, like artifact assets, dot swoosh Azuki's, beans, fucking punks, bored apes, mutants, fucking pudgy penguins, sappy seals. I'll fucking buy what you're telling me to buy. I'll just like put what I can afford to risk into it, and I'll never sell it. But you got to be holding shit I like, otherwise I can't fuck with you. And you're one of like my favorite clones. I mean, that's the only reason too. That's another reason that I fuck with because I only bought enough for 4 nodes initially. When you had fucking been shilling it when it was fucking
Here we go again.
$4 or whatever.
Did you run the nodes?
But then when this guy started going on, and then like, yo, it's just gonna go to like maybe 2 or 3 bands a piece. Ethereum's gonna be at like 15K. and I'm gonna buy more Nike stocks.
Oh, Hemi.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yo, Nvidia partnered up with Artifact. Yo,
That's
Nvidia is
why I
going
have a
ballistic, bro.
Nvidia fucking video card inside of my computer, bro. I could have
Yo,
gone with
they're
ATI, but I went with the people that support the people that pump my fucking bags.
Everybody was chasing the gold rush. You didn't want to be chasing the gold rush. You wanted to be selling shovels, bro. That's what Nvidia's doing. They're selling the cards that everybody needs for their AI and their programs. So sell shovels. Don't dig for. Don't be the guy digging for gold.
Yeah, that's why I have my motto: the dev always wins. Except
So
for when you're dealing with Web3 lawyers.
I'm gonna
If
be
they
honest.
got Web3 lawyer in their bio, fucking run and turn the other way, man. Go get the yellow pages, fucking interview a couple of these fucking losers, see which one is in Saul, and fucking go with that guy. That's what I did.
Man, Kuro is on one. I don't know what happened today.
Bro, I drank 3 espressos. I'm on my third cigarette for the day, down from fucking 15 cigarettes a day. Okay, we're living our best fucking lives today. Okay,
You
I ordered the
supplemented nicotine
Doritos
with caffeine.
fucking jacket. It actually fucking came to the store. I got a free fucking Nike SB backpack, and I'm still high on fucking caffeine. I'm having the best day of my life right now.
I am gonna donate a pair of AirPods to Rose Jade so that her kids don't have to hear all this cussing in the background. It's bad take. We get a little.
Wait. Rose Jade, send me a wallet address. Seriously, right now.
I'm
Please
being.
No,
send me your wallet
I'm
address.
always on my AirPods. I'm always on
Oh,
my
okay.
AirPods. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. No, I'd like, I don't want kids to hear what I'm saying, but like, you could like take me off the AirPods when I say Nike, buy Nike. That's the only thing that they should hear.
Programming. Let's take on it. We're gonna start.
Bro, you know what I gave my nephew the other night when I went for dinner with him? I bought him Nike shares. I'm
Would you
pumping my
rock,
own bags out here.
a collab? Like if the beans did like a croc collab.
I have Crocs. I'm gonna buy those. I'm not gonna lie.
They were
That's
like
like the one thing I make an exception for.
red Crocs and they had looked kind of like your bean. That would be kind of fire, dude. I'm just saying. Like hit
Yeah,
me
it would be fire, but you know what would be even more fire?
Nike.
Fucking Air Forces with the bean on it, okay? And then Dunks in the different fucking like categories, like the reds, the blues, the spirits, the Kigus, in Dunks. Could you fucking imagine that?
Maybe some.
Yo, I'm telling you, I
Do
have fucking Nike's best interests at heart here, man.
you remember that guy? Do you remember that Azuki guy who like fudded Artifact while stealing his custom Nikes that he did for one of the members? Like he made it a point to FUD Artifact in the post. It caused hell. Like everybody was pissed. We need an Azuki to pay Rupsy to do a proper one, and then we'll like steal the hell out of Rupsy, right? To show him how you're supposed to maybe tap into a community
If
like
I'm
as a
buying fucking
like
Miladies and Remelios, I'll have enough money to buy an Azuki and I'll just get him to do it. We'll work something out that's lucrative.
you get your bean on a custom pair. We got people in the community that make some dope shit.
Yo, Rusty, how much does that cost?
Rupsy.
Bro, you guys are expecting way too much from me, okay? Now pronunciation.
Uh,
The fact that I'm not fucking fudding my own bags for once
you
is
told us
probably as much as you're gonna get out of me, man. To be honest.
told us when you exited Monolith, so we know you got the money. You fucked up by telling us how good of a trader you are.
Yo, listen, man. I'm a Jeet, bro. I Jeet that shit at the top, and then I buy fucking side quests. Like that's why I bought another egg the other day because I was like, yo, if I don't buy another egg, and then I went and I looked up which Murakami smart ass fucking drip went and sold one of their eggs, and I bought that guy's egg. Okay, because I have a theory. I know I'm just speculating and shit like that, but I'm pretty sure these animuses are gonna match up to our DNAs. That's why I kept the animus that I got for claiming my lizard, because that would be cool. Okay, and I'm willing to speculate on that.
I remember one guy spending 4 ETH on 2 animus eggs from 2 aliens. He paid the extra ETH, or like he paid 2 ETH for each egg because it came from aliens. And I just remember going, damn, that guy just wasted ETH because there was nothing in the contract that tied the token ID number to the
Yo,
egg. Uh,
Rusty. So I had a question for you. How much would it be to get my bean on a pair of dunks? And then how soon could I get it? And would I have it by Azuki Vegas so I could go stunt on people? Specifically, my favorite founder
there were the
location.
first
Yeah,
request.
it would just kind of depend on like the design, like how crazy the design is. It's kind of like if you're gonna get a tattoo, like it just goes piece by piece. But yeah, I mean, when's the event? Next month?
No, it's
Next
this
week.
next week.
You
Yo, I'm on
crazy?
some
And
bullshit all the time,
you're in
bro.
Canada right now, dude.
I'm in
Canadian.
Canada, but like I'll book
It,
my thing tomorrow morning, my
it's next
Airbnb
week.
house. I need to
If
mail
you
it
could,
there.
if you just shoot me the pair of shoes, like an image of the shoes that you want it done on, and like the image that you want on the shoes, and I'll try and put something together, like a digital kind of mock-up real quick, and see what we could do. I can't promise anything because that's crazy, like time frame. Even just to get the shoes in hand is gonna take a couple days, right? I mean,
Yeah. Wait. What's today?
today is what, the I don't know, 13th.
13. Wait, I don't even know what day of the week it is. I'm so hopped up on caffeine right now, man.
Tuesday the 13th.
Tuesday the 13th. Okay, so it's the 23rd is the dinner, or is the Hakkasan event,
So
or
10 days. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to have the shoes in hand within like a day or two, 2 days
day or
tops.
two? I could pay you
Yeah.
today. Let me send you an image.
Yeah,
Uh,
just show me like kind of what you had in mind.
Even if I can't get it for
We'll
this
talk
event,
about it.
if I
There we go. Yeah, whatever you want to do, just shoot me a DM. I can't. Is he gone?
I lost him.
He's gone.
That's
All
what happens,
right.
bro. Sometimes the igloos up there, the internet connections, Canada, it gets off, man. They're still in snow up there. You gotta love the Canadians for pushing through the winter into June.
The caffeine ran out of his phone.
It just died. Yo, the way
There's still snow up there, and summer solstice is next week, which means winter's here. So they're fucked. They have no summer.
I know, dude. Dude, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like something has shifted because the weather has just been really cool here in California. I don't want to jinx anything, but this is the
It's like
longest,
California here
really.
in St. Louis, dude. It has been so nice here, like nonstop, and it should be balls hot right now. It should be humid and nasty hot, but it's not. And I'm taking full advantage. I was in my office all day today, but I'll be getting outside this week, baby.
Have you ever you're from St. Louis, Baron. Have you ever looked up the St. Louis expedition? Like the Louis World
Yeah.
Fair?
Oh yeah, babe. The World's Fair here was real. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's still left over from it. We have the second largest public park to Central Park, which is where it's called Forest Park, and that's where the World's Fair took place in 1904.
Yeah.
It's amazing the size of the buildings that they built for it.
No.
They had a section just
Wait,
devoted to like cannibals.
how much time did it take them to build it?
Dude, years.
No,
They were
bro. They said in 24 months, 2 years, built that whole everything for that World Fair.
right, 2 years, right?
That's what they say, right?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, they built like there was temples built to show off like different types like masonry, like that type of like religion or whatever that is, and like they had to move, like they had these cannibals on display, and they had to move them to like a different part of town because it was freaking everybody out. And that part of town's now called Dogtown because they didn't let the people eat like humans when they were here, so that's what they had. They had dogs. But yeah, it's wild. That wasn't
Massive,
even that long ago.
no,
1904.
huge buildings, Baron, huge. And then did you see right when it ended, the excuses they used to blow up a lot of them? They destroyed a lot of them. Some of them are still there. They destroyed
My parents live on the park. It's like 2 blocks from me. That whole where that all took place. So yeah, man, just a dying river city here.
I I've gone pretty deep into the St. Louis World Fair. It's super interesting. There's a lot of them though. There were one in Chicago. There was one in Philadelphia, New York, all over the world, kind of. But everywhere, every single one of them, they like 1 or 2 years they were put up and built, and then there was like mysterious fires or just straight destruction of a lot of the buildings afterwards. Like they didn't let a lot of them stay up.
What's the point of them? Why did they? I don't even know nothing about
Well,
none of them.
I don't want to dive too deep into it, but the fact that they're like, if you go look at the type of buildings Barron's talking about and what has already been destroyed, um, it's massive buildings, Dre. And this is apparently a time of like horse and carriage. Like we didn't have the type of machinery we have now. And they say that these are done in 2 years. There's a whole conspiracy around people believe that these were there way before that. And the World Fair expedition that kind of traveled around the US and other parts of Europe was a guise as an excuse to cover up like a previous civilization that had built these massive buildings over a long time, and then
Yo.
they used the World Fair as a
Oh,
to destroy a lot of these buildings and take away a lot of this architecture, dude.
so some of the buildings that remain are so insane. This Mason building is like now that you're saying that is it's mind blowing. It First of all, the structure is massive, like the heaviest stone you can imagine. I
The,
gotta go through that building now that you just said that.
oh, I'll send you a good video, dude. But the if you go look back, and even Barron said, right? He said it took them a couple years. Like the story that they've told the locals and they've told us that they built these things in 2 years. Like there's no way. You've seen them, Barron. There's no. It's just not
There
possible,
is no way.
especially with horse and carriage. So it's
I never even like thought about that, dude. Now I feel like it's such a small brain.
no, dude. All right, bro. And I don't want to like. Where's we don't get a lone architect started, but the guess who was the who put on the World Fair. Like those world expeditions traveled across the country. St. Louis isn't the only one. They're all over the
Yeah, like
country.
wasn't it like Lewis and Clark?
Chicago had a massive one, bro. And it was Walt Disney's father was the curator of the expedition. And if you look, the Disney logo, well, this could go too deep. I won't go that deep, but go look into it, dude. Those buildings were there long before the St. Louis World Fair. They weren't just built for that. They were there long before. And the expedition or exposition was used to destroy some of them. Like if you remember, they demoed a bunch of those buildings,
Like the
and
majority, more than the majority, probably 80%.
they needed an excuse to destroy those, and they couldn't just do it out of nowhere. So they needed to build up a story that it was a temporary display, where they had it up for 6 months.
That's what they called them, temporary displays. But like, dude, this one building is insane. A lot of what they left was like these huge pavilions that like were just massive, like, but like open air pavilions. You know what I mean? And so they
And the
didn't.
art not It's not like traditional American art.
The ones that they've left is like our art museum, man. That's how big it is. And the St. Louis Art Museum is one of the best art museums in the country. It's got Emily Pulitzer's collection. Like, I mean, there's all these just amazing art collections on their in their archives. But now that Comp's talking about this, I'm like a little bit shook, dude.
I only brought it up because you said you were from St. Louis, and I've looked into that city a lot. It's interesting because it was one of the major ones where they had in 1904 they had this they called it the World Fair, the exposition, the St. Louis, the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, I think was what it was called.
Yep.
But it, they needed an excuse to destroy a lot of old architecture from a previous previous like empire that was here, a previous civilization, and those buildings were all here prior to that exposition, and they used it. They told them it was going to be temporary. About 6 months is how long that they were apparently. They built all this massive structure only to keep them up for 6 months and then destroy them. Was what the story was. Is what it is. So it's crazy. You've been to a lot of these buildings. You can tell that that's bullshit. That
That's my
it didn't build-
backyard,
it's
literally.
yeah. They
Dude,
didn't.
that's wild. I'm gonna have to go do a little research. Maybe I'm living on hallowed ground.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of it's nice to know the story that they fed everybody and what they taught you maybe in as a local they taught all of us in school, and then you can kind of pick out the bullshit. All of the buildings were all also made by the same construction company for all of these expositions, all within a 1 or 2 year period across the country. It's like, bro, you didn't make buildings the size of some like Roman cathedrals all within 2 year period.
The cathedral here has like the most ornate like murals in the world. It's like got, and that's from the World's Fair too. 2 years.
Yeah, that shit's been around for hundreds of years, Baron, but they needed reason. All of those buildings were here for hundreds of years. They needed a reason to destroy like 80% of them. And they did. If you remember, they brought dynamite in and they were destroying all this old architecture in St. Louis. That was there long before we took over, right? We bought that whole area in the Louisiana Purchase. Like a lot of that shit was already there. The city was found in what year? They founded it. So that's a fun one, dude. Go down the whole history of your own city. I love that.
Yeah, I'm going to, man. I need an axe to grind on. I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Everybody's in here going, compound's talking crazy. Like that's not even crazy. Like this guy lives there. He's seen it all. That's the real shit.
My wife worked at the art museum for a long time, and as like an educator. And I mean, I've been in there. There's no way it's built in 2 years. Absolutely no way. Now that I look back on it, I mean, I don't know why it never even dawned on me, but
We couldn't build that. We couldn't build even the smallest version of it in 2 years right now. There's even
no.
with the technology we have. And
The
that's
vaulted ceilings are just insane. They're so tall, and it's like all stone, the whole thing.
yeah, it's all like carved like granite and marble. Like it's big shit
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
And this is all over the country. A lot of the major cities had a lot of buildings like this all over the country. So, um, and a lot of it was destroyed specifically for this reason because people would question where the fuck did this stuff come from? Like when did this get built? So they did that World Fair traveling tour. They toured across from like 1887 to 1904. They traveled to multiple major cities and used it to destroy a lot of those old architecture buildings. But they kept some of them, and those are the ones that you've seen.
Credit for them.
They took credit for
Hey, Comp, how the hell do you remember all this shit, but you can't remember to mint your Genesis collection, bro?
Yo, bro. You guys were talking about this earlier. I envy the people that can be like a really, really good at one thing, like really fucking talented at one thing. I've always been subpar at a lot of random things. And one of those things is history. Like I'm not a professional at history, but I'm like subpar at knowing history. So it's just kind of one of my things that I study when I'm not in Web3. And that one's one of the most like in my opinion like one of the most important things you can look into in American history is all the old architecture that was here long before we were, like, because it kind of can tell you a lot about your past, right? Because they don't teach you that in school. They don't teach you that there was
All Native Americans here, man.
they just tell you there were just Native Americans here. They don't tell you there was an entire culture and civilization that lived here before we
They
did.
could have. The Native Americans probably built it, and they were made to, and they didn't, didn't want to give them credit for it. How sophisticated they really were.
There was an there well there was there's an ancient like an empire that spanned across Europe and the US and parts of like Russia called the Tartarian Empire. and all the architecture in a lot of these areas are identical in Europe, in the US, and it's on a lot of old maps, even in the US. But they don't teach here.
You learn about the Tartarian Empire in history, but they don't tell you that it was like here.
Yeah, they don't tell you that the Tartarian Empire spanned all the way to the US, right? Because they don't want to teach us that we came. They don't want to teach us that we came to the US and there was a previous civilization living here. They just want to say, no, it was just, Native Americans. We kind of just took over and that's that, right? No, bro, there was a full blown like civilization that was reset here.
Yeah,
And
but here in Australia they try to hide it, bro. So like there's like
right,
that are like 60,000 years old, and they
right.
just blow them up just to mine, well, to hide them. Like
No, so Australia
hide.
had Australia had a World Fair, Hemi, in Melbourne, I think it was, and it was they have massive buildings still to this day, like the big Parliament buildings in Australia, and it's all part of that same Tartarian Empire that used to be like vast across the world. Yeah, that's funny. Hemi knows the stories of what they've done in Australia too. It's not really like a crazy conspiracy theory. It's more so just kind of like not
Right?
taught history, you know?
But it all spoils. It all foils and falls under the same umbrella. This is why you don't trust the government now, for real. You
Yeah,
know, man. You find out history and it teaches you and pulls you in a different direction from what you were intentionally taught, and makes you pull that red flag out. Like, yo, bro, how come?
Yeah,
How
I'm like
come,
shook
bro?
right now, man. What is going on?
You know
no,
what I
I've
mean?
had these posters in my room of the fair my whole life.
yeah, bro. And they told you that they were built in 2 years, and they
Oh, I
told you
agree.
they were temporary. They told you they were temporary because they needed an excuse to destroy them afterwards, is what it was. And it was all led by Walt Disney's father. If you look at the Disney logo, the building, the castle looks a lot like the architecture from some of these buildings that are probably in that poster.
So
Um,
it makes you wonder and ask the questions as of why, right? Like, what is the reason? Not only who did this and who built it before they got here, but why would they get rid of it? And why wouldn't they just say that up front? Like, yo, we got to get rid of this. You know
uh,
what I mean?
we'll go way too deep there, but there was a previous point where civilization has reached like technological levels where we're close to where we're at like right now. I'm not saying with the electronics and the cell phones, but the ability to build these types of buildings that you're seeing all over like that they've destroyed all over the world and that we're talking about. And there was a reset, bro. Like they had to reset after.
Compound, we are going there. You can't. There's no way. There's no shallow end to these type of
I know,
conversations. This is off the cliff, and
but
I know, and I agree, and it is what it is. It was, you know what I mean. The technology was there. It might not have been this exact cell phone, but the technology was there. That's the only thing that makes sense as to how deep and how in depth these buildings, how vast they were. It can't tell me, yeah, three people with a a rock.
and a horse and carriage.
They made this for you guys. Congratulations. Like,
And I'm
what?
not here talking about the pyramids and shit. I'm not going like that. But I'm talking about our own country, dude. I'm talking about St. Louis, Philadelphia. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
they're
all
all
of these.
classes, bro. They don't want to. They don't want to use quality anymore. They'll never do that ever again. It's about the money.
It's worldwide, man. It don't it the
Yeah, fact.
parameters that we put on these names of these locations were made by us, or our, the people who came before us, but it's all the same thing for real. Like, that's why.
Did you come to Melbourne? Have you been to Melbourne?
No, I mean, them big ass spiders kept me out of Australia.
Compound, you been here?
No, dude, but I've studied the World Fair that went to Australia, dude, and it's the building that they built there for in apparently 2 years and put on this massive 6 month fair, and we're also destroyed there. You have a similar story there, dude. You guys know.
Yeah, we're like the LA. We're like the second LA. Melbourne's the LA of Australia, bro.
With
But
big ass spiders.
yeah, dangerous. Nah, stay away from the outback, bro. You'll be fine. But China owns it all anyway. But yeah, bro. One of our main station, our main train station in Melbourne, there was a planned mix-up somehow, and our station was built in India. So you've got this crazy building over in India, and we've got this Indian train station here in Melbourne, our most iconic train station. You should see the one in India. It's crazy how they can mix up plans like that, bro. But once they get all the, that's crazy. But once they ship all the ship on the boats, all the product, you can't just ship it all back to. It's crazy. History is crazy, man.
It is. It is. It tells us a lot about the present more than it does.
I feel so dumb right now.
Baron, don't. I put a video at the top.
Guys, these buildings are insane. Like these buildings are I can.
So it's massive, like they're massive style.
Oh my god, you can't even like.
Middle
I
of
can't.
St. Louis. Middle of St. Louis.
You couldn't make it. You'd have a hard time replicating it today with in modern materials. Like the materials used are definitely shipped. I mean, oh my god.
There's a video.
Temporary buildings, and they destroyed. So then they it was a whole campus. Like it looked like Roman architecture. It looked like these big stone oh my god. And then a lot of them, basically what they did was they just ripped down areas of it and would leave one standing, so that it looked like that was like the coolest thing erected of the area, and they ripped down all the temporary stuff around it is what they called it. But clearly all the buildings around it were of that caliber.
So I mean, in the video above is, if anybody's wants to know what we're referencing, so it's not just crazy talk. This is a time before we had vehicles, bro. This is a time before.
That's the history museum right there.
This is a time where we had gas-powered vehicles, right when they were just getting invented. I think Ford was just starting to figure out assembly lines. With horse and buggy, in 2 years, they built this entire exposition, only to demo it all 6 months later because the fair was moving to the next city.
Horse and buggies and bikes. Don't forget the bikes, man. You can do it when you got the
Look
tools.
at those buildings. Look at those buildings.
How long would it take to travel from LA to what's the closest city by horseback?
I don't know where.
Chicago.
That's all stone and marble.
There's St. Louis. You talking about?
That's not.
Maybe. I don't know.
Everything came by river, man.
Yeah, guys, that's not red brick. That's not wood.
Oh, dude, that's stone. I've been in those buildings, man. You can't break that with anything. And they go so deep into the ground. It goes all the archives for all the art museum goes 6 stories below ground.
And we purchased a ton of land, which this was included, right? And all of this architecture, all of these buildings they were already here. We bought that. They needed to delete.
Wait, quote unquote bought that, man. We're gonna go into it. We gotta go into it for real.
Oh yeah, we paid pennies on the dollar for the
literally cents.
Literally cents.
And then they just started giving it away.
But I don't know. That's a fun one to go down. And I knew you were from St. Louis, so I had to ask you if you've seen any of the buildings. They left a couple of them, dude. There's still some there, but they've reskinned them. A lot of them end up going in fires. It's always a fire. Oh, a fire burned it down.
Well, that's what Chicago fire, right? Probably burned. I think that's what burned a lot of that down. And then San Francisco had a huge fire.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was just, you were led to believe because everything was so close together, they didn't have, good ways of putting the fires out. But
guess you said Chicago's major fire and San Francisco's major fire. Both of the Chicago and San Francisco had a World Fair, and they both were apparently put up in 2 years as well. Both of them, dude. San Francisco World Fair and Chicago both built in 2 years, and then destroyed 6 months later.
It was supposed to be a travel. It was like a circus. It was made out to be like a traveling fair, and you could it was an exposition to view other people from different areas of the world.
How hot does a fire have to be to melt marble?
Yeah, dude. They actually got smart with St. Louis. They brought dynamite out, bro. They blew up a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, dude, our shit was so old they couldn't even mess with it, dude. I live on hollow ground, don't even know it.
What's up, Felix?
Yo, originally I came up because someone compared Melbourne to Los Angeles, and I didn't think that was. I thought that was on brand with the with the title of this space. That was just a bad take. But I'm someone that spent a couple of decades in construction, and there are monuments and things built historically that to this very day and age, even with the technology we have today, you just straight up can't build. and the most effective modern day construction that actually makes sense is the Chrysler Building, which they built in from when they conception. I think when the architect finished the design to when they cut the ribbon and opened it, it was 1 year. But again, dozens of people died, and it was like this unlimited budget thing. But when you really dig into things like these, the World Fair kind of stuff, it came at a huge. Whether it was done in 2 years or not is, who really knows? But it came at huge loss of life and obviously a lot of exploitation. You go down into South America and you look at some of the ruins that are down there, and they can identify from the quarries or from the mountains where stone blocks were taken. And they're like, in this very day and age, like even massive like helicopters and stuff, we can't transport it from point A to point B. Like we have no idea how it actually got here. And there's a bunch of head scratching stuff riddled all through history that just doesn't make sense, and it just kind of gets ignored.
And it's not taught as well. Like everybody in here was probably taught something just a little bit different in public schools, but there's reasons that like it's not taught. So they don't really want you to question what it might have been here before, because that's a whole nother can of worms. Like imagine the American people were questioning, like me just talking to Barron about this right now. He's like, "What? My entire life in St. Louis has been a lie."
Right. Now let me even ask you guys this to segue this to a different conversation. If you could find out everything, say it's a pill that you could take where you could find out everything that you want to know about everything, history, all of the above, would you take that pill to give you the answers to all of these questions that we're posing here right now?
Yeah, dude, and I'd probably just die a crazy old.
I was just about to say that. You think you take the pill, you think your mind could actually grasp those ideas, right? Like the answers, like, yo, I want to know everything. I think shit would just instantly snap out.
They say there's a correlation for very, very high IQ people. There's a direct correlation to their level of intelligence and their happiness. Sorry, I've got my kid on my backpack here making noise. And the smarter you are, generally, the more unhappy you are, because you just realize how much people are sheep. People don't understand you. You struggle to communicate, and it's a pretty isolating existence.
That's a fact. I mean, even when I went down the rabbit holes to learn these things that we are discussing now, right? I haven't really delved into these World Fair history things, but there's been other topics that I've gone down, especially during the pandemic when I had nothing but time to do so. And honestly, that was probably the most depressed I've been in my life, just because of the truths that I was connecting from looking and finding more information about these rabbit holes that I was going into. So I can definitely see and agree with that point. It's easy just to be like, yo, what's the point of it all? Fuck this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's why it's like I ignorance is bliss. I gotta keep my side of the street clean in life, and I'll learn, what I can, and but I'm not gonna like go into some rabbit hole and try to like solve this whole fucking mystery, because A, my brain won't be able to comprehend it in the full scope, and B, I don't think it was meant to be that way. So ignorance is bliss, baby. It's like you got to embrace that bubble.
Yeah, but ignorance is a luxury as well. Like people that are ignorant to politics or how big data is used or all that kind of stuff, like it's a luxury because if it doesn't necessarily directly impact you in a negative way, you can be ignorant. Like there's people that hang on to political agendas and things that are getting pushing through various governments because it has a direct impact on them. And if you're fortunate enough that you can kind of sit on the sidelines and still live a content, happy life, you're just straight up fortunate.
Wait, I'm sorry, I got cut out. Did you guys all decide to stay stay ignorant just to live a peaceful, to keep your peace in a sense?
I would want to take the pill, but I don't think I would last long after I did that.
I mean, just take half the pill. Save the other. Give the other one to your loved one, so you can at least talk to each other.
No, I think it's important that there isn't a pill because then you can dive into these things at your own pace and start to grasp them at your own pace. You know what I'm saying? Like in a sense, me kind of just saying this to Baron and sending him one video on St. Louis and the Louisiana Purchase, and he can just dive in at his own pace, right? It's like this is stuff that he grew up there. He learned about the story they told him, and now he has the opportunity to look in past that story and see maybe some more information. So I'm glad there's no pill, dude. All hitting you all at once is like dropping a whole sheet of acid or something for MK Ultra. You don't want to do that all at once, right? Like you can't go can't take all that shit at once, dude. You got to learn slowly, man.
Bad idea. You'll ruin it.
Yeah. So
I do believe in the harmony of things and divine intervention, right? Like we start finding this information, or better yet, the information finds us when we are prepared to make a decision on if we want to ingest it or not. I do believe that's what the experience of life is about, placing yourself in the opportunity to be able to have that information find you, and then you having the free will to make the choice to educate yourself or find out or dive deep into that information to figure out more and put more of the pieces of the puzzle to complete the picture. That's what I feel like this whole thing is
You know
about.
what's super interesting on that topic is that you might hear the same message once a year for every year, and it mightn't be until 10 years later that it actually clicks because you're not ready for it leading up to that. Same as like, you know, to get down on like a biological level, like every cell in your body is replaced every 7 years. So like your taste buds, and the reason why you change preferences because, you know, at a molecular level, you're transforming over time. So I like recently in the last 24 months became a parent, and like I'm going back and reading some books and even seeing movies, and I'm like viewing it through a completely different lens and appreciating a whole different nuance to it. So if there's things that you found fascinating growing up, I encourage you, you know, bookmark it later in life, revisit it, because it will be like, you know, a different version or a different revision just because you're applying some life experience to it.
That's a fact.
yeah, that was what's that. I think a lot of specifically on these kind of topics is a lot of people do prefer just no, that's not what I was taught. I don't need to know. I don't want to know. And they just it's like peaceful to kind of not know some shit, right? So it's that's what the beauty of free will is, to be the ability to like not dive into some things that you don't want to dive into or not. But I'm on the opposite, man. I dive into anything and everything. Um, I like to learn from all angles. I like to take in all different sources of information. It's just who I am. I've got ADHD, dude, and I saw some guy saying that it's not a disability, it's a superpower. And I'm like, yeah, no, I like looking at it like that, bro. We'll dive into some crazy shit.
No,
So
that's a
yeah, man.
fact. It's a like what Felix saying about it coming around every so often. That's the test of life, right? You'll go through the same situation and might not even pay attention to the cues that you're receiving to even answer the questions to that test in that present moment. But it let it happen again and again and again further down the line in a couple years, couple months, whatever it takes for you to actually reach that vibration to understand the message and take the test to either pass or fail. And that's when you go to the next level. If you pass the test, you get to the next level to do it all over again and gather more information and more experiences, which give you more wisdom. Or if you fail, you keep going back until you pass the test. That's why they say people come through. The same test will come through with a different face if you fail it previously when it comes to your encounters with individuals in this realm. So it's deeply complex, but it's a beautiful song and dance, man. For real. Like even just finding out and speaking about these things, like it's very intriguing. It can be scary if you thinking on that vibration, or it can be highly educational and full of wisdom if you're looking at it from another spectrum. So that's what all of this is, man. In my opinion, my humble opinion.
I dig it. I dig it. I got to bounce. I've finished my dog walk and baby walk, but good note to end on. Appreciate it, guys.
See you later, Felix.
Yo,
Nah, man.
Comp.
This is a refreshing talk, dude. We don't have to talk NFTs every day, man. Sometimes we can talk some real shit.
No, we don't.
I'm looking at some clones.
What's up, Aaron?
Hemmy's looking at clones. That means we are in the right place, people. Just get out before he gets out.
11028. Fire.
I want that googly-eyed pirate with the diamond grill. Serious. I'm dead serious. He's like 3.1 ETH.
How much is this one? This one's 3.18. Let's see which ones you'd rather get, mine or parents. Let's find that boy.
I'm hanging tight.
Bro, they're almost under. They go under 2 ETH, bro.
Yeah.
Shit. If I can get me some clones for it.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm gonna do it, bro. 1 ETH? Is it possible?
No, it won't go to that.
Well, no, 1 ETH.
I don't know. 2 is pretty low, but we'll see.
2 is low, man.
They could, they want more people in this thing, and they're going to reward the people that pick up clones, and the people that hold on are going to be fine too. This is the best thing going. This is the best brand there is, and it was the best thing that came out of Web3, honestly.
Yeah, but I feel like it's still a long journey ahead until something comes with the clones. So I'm praying I get a 1 ETH clone because I'm just going to and suck up 10 or something, bro.
This thing, just wait. I mean, once the people from Dot Swoosh get here, there's only 20,000 clones, and everybody loves them. They see them.
How long we got?
I don't know. A little
I reckon
while.
we got 6 months. I reckon we got at least 6 months.
He said how long we got.
Bro, this is a compound, bro. You know me with my pools and everything, bro. I'm all about strategy. You know what I mean? Like, it sucks that the clones are down there, but I don't know, with the way it's going, it's where they belong. But at the end of the day, price doesn't matter about anything. Don't talk to me about everything talk to me about everything except price, okay? About whatever project. Let's just say less about artifact, bro. Clones. Can't put a price on these things. But anyway, 1 ETH, please.
Yo, bro, if it goes to 1 ETH, you and I might be the largest holders of clones.
Bro. That's my problem, bro. I don't think people like you or like us, like everyone else, I don't think we're gonna allow it to be at 1 ETH. It's not
Bro, we're definitely not allowing it. But it's like the lowest I thought I could get was 2 ETH, to be honest, and it only 2 sold at that price because people tried to make a point, but guess who won and guess who lost? The people that bought it for 2 ETH and the people that sold it for 2 ETH lost. So there's always that.
Yeah, maybe the offers will go down. We'll get an ETH, maybe 1.2. I'd love to have a clone in my wallet. I don't care what it looks like, saying last sold 1.2 ETH or something. This is funny.
Just do what one of my buddies does and sell the clones to yourself.
Yeah, took all that joy away from me.
Had to leave. I couldn't hear Hemi, so I missed everything he just said.
Hemi had another conspiracy theory.
I'll just apologize last week.
You might have wanted to fight us.
Hemi's conspiracy theory was wild.
Well, what?
No, we'll just move. I wanna. It's all good, bro. So.
No, I want to hear because I'm having thoughts myself.
We said that if it goes to 1 ETH, the clones will be the largest holders. Okay.
I heard that part.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get beat up in Vegas, so I'm gonna shut up now.
No, Chevy didn't have a conspiracy theory. He was just talking about clone thrice.
Hey, if clones started, if clones go to 1 ETH, I would thank you guys for the bottom of my heart. You guys are amazing, and I actually might pick up 5 at that point. But nah, I don't see them dropping.
Another
Really,
six.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
another.
Shadow, we're doing everything we can for you.
That's
I
another.
understand,
Okay?
and I
And I'm
just
not gonna FUD
I
them.
appreciate
I
that.
don't FUD them, but I'm not gonna be out here pumping artifact bags. You know what I mean?
No,
Like I'm not
pump
gonna
my
pump my.
Nike bags, Baron.
No, I'm not gonna pump my bags. I'm just gonna be silent,
Pump
dude.
the
I'm sick of
socks,
trying to
bro.
tell people about this stuff. I'm done.
Hey,
You know
I
what
was
I mean? No, that's not true. I wear my gear every single day. I've got my clone in my office. I showed Compound and Dre the picture today. I'm kind of embarrassed how long it's been since I've been in that office. And, you know, clone to the bone, baby. I don't know if that's what I want to roll with, but I don't know. It rhymes, but I think we can come up with something better than that.
Hey man, all I'm gonna say is I was talking to my wife. She saw me scrolling through OpenSea. You know, it's a long track to go through all of these humans just to make sure I'm making the right choice on my forever clone. But I'm slowly going through it. And as she's going through, you know, she's just on her phone. She's watching me. I got to connect it to the TV. I got like a wireless keyboard so I can scroll and all the good stuff. And so I'm telling her a little bit about it, you know, because she knows about the shoes and stuff. She doesn't know too much about the actual clones. And then I tell her about, you know, the price and why it's so good to get in now. And she's like, well, if they give you all that stuff and they got all this stuff coming, why are they so cheap? I said, that's the question we're not going to ask. We're just going to hurry up and buy one before people figure it out. Because I don't know why, but I'm picking up one before it goes back up. So yeah, man. But no, I think the floor I think it was like 5-ish K last time I checked. For the in my opinion, the good clones. Now I know there's no such thing as a floor clone, but I will say there is a such thing as a good clone. I hope we can all agree on that. Maybe I don't know.
No, I'm not gonna agree with that. I think every clone is beautiful. Um,
I agree with that.
I don't accept any FUD for any clone, cause yo, have you seen what these mutants look like? No offense to the mutants, but if I had fucking acidic boogers coming out of my nose, I wouldn't be so cocky.
Hey, do they really vibe though with the mutants though, bro? Because I agree, man. The mutants look ugly as fuck. I'm
I
sorry for
like
the
them.
visual.
They're like a cute ugly. I'm not gonna say I don't like the mutants. I do like the mutants. I like. There's a couple of them that I really like the diamond one that NFTs are nice or whatever the fuck he calls himself now has. Um, I'm not like the biggest fan of Thread Guy's mutant, but it is a very aesthetically appealing mutant with the pimp jacket. But like you look at the pimp jacket in the artifact collection, you look at that one. Which one would you rather have, man?
No,
People
the
keep
pimp
Listen,
saying
jacket.
ugly cute. When has that been an actual thing? How is something
Have you
ugly
ever
cute?
seen like a corgi? They're
Uh,
ugly,
Yeah,
but they're cute.
they're
Corgis
not.
are
No, it's no ugly
it's
cute. It's either or.
like a pug or whatever they're called.
I
They're
don't
like
know.
the
I have
snack
long
face.
legs. I like dogs with long legs, like my saint. Right, buddy?
well.
He just
I'll
looked at
say
me like he's gonna bite me. Okay.
I'll say this. I have this bad take, okay? This bad take of, and it's gonna sound horrible, but it is what it is. If I cannot eat food and look at something, it's ugly. I'm sorry. And I can't scroll through mutant floors and like eat cereal or some shit like that. Cause some of them things got like it looks like their face is a booger and it looks like they're like their tongue is like bro, like it's like sewage coming out of their eyes. It's like hands lapping over hands, bro. I'm like, what the I understand like the Yuga Labs, you know, as a project is amazing, but the Mutant Apes, bro, y'all gotta be buying these things for utility or something, because you ain't buying it for the art, bro. Come on.
Nah,
My man said he
no,
can't even
no
eat
way.
cereal.
Yeah, honestly, like Compound has a nice mutant. That's a nice mutant. There's no like things oozing out of
Nah,
the
that thing is
extremity.
ugly too. They all smacked
No,
with a
it's
bat, bro.
ugly, but I mean, like comparatively to the ones that just have like a whole ass booger face, Like, I'm not riding with that. Like, you know, 15 ETH was the time to sell the mutants. 40 grand or whatever it was the time. But I said what I said, and I still haven't bought a Bored Ape. But I like the Bored Apes. Mutants, not so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's
the
talk
apes.
about that too, for real. Like, what is this utility with owning these things, right? Like, because I even have a take
They're
for
printers, bro.
Artifact.
They print money, bro. They print daily income, daily
They
residual income. They also give you like access to a ecosystem where there are a lot of people that are creating like real world brands. They have bars that you can be a part of. They have the board burgers. I'm not particularly fond of some of the packaging, but that's just like I'm wearing all black right now. You can't take me seriously, man. I'm basically a bot here. I just wake up, I put on black clothes, and I act like I'm heartbroken and shit all day. So, you know, there's that.
if I bought an ape or a mutant, I would buy it and I would just stake it and wait to potentially a price point that I might sell it at. But if I was able to have that type of income, I probably wouldn't bring myself to sell it because, I mean, there's always something that is the apex, and right now that is an ape. So it's always cool to be, get your hands on one. But yeah, I would stake that thing. I mean, I wouldn't be able to look at my mutant though. That's for sure.
Okay, so it's the apex now because people say so. What? But how long and for what? For what reasons is it the apex, and how do you think this will last? And not even
And
just speaking about apes, but also speaking about Artifact and where we are as a community as well.
until somebody comes along and knocks the king off his chair, I mean, we have to pay the tax. And so I'm with you though, Dre Millie. I think CloneX has everything in his arsenal to dethrone the king, quote unquote. But right now, just the community, they move as a unit. I mean, I don't want to sit here and I am not trying to be that person that's over here just boasting about a project I'm not even in or trying to get in. But I will say that they have rightfully earned their crown. But if they're not careful, and the first misstep, which I think could be maybe revolve around this game, this very big game undertaking that they're trying to do. That I mean, is some very impressive shit that they're doing. But let's just say hypothetically something goes really wrong, or maybe the game is just really boring, or something like that. I mean, then that kind of like I can see that as a misstep. But yeah, a project would have to have been cooking for the past year or so. Artifacts doing that. The community would have to really get tight and move as a unit and be prepared to continue to move through as a unit throughout the bear and the bull markets to come. And you're just going to have to build up that rapport in crypto Twitter and around. That's how you take down the king, in my opinion. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
No, I agree. You're making some good points too. These aren't really direct questions to try to knock or put down any community, Artifact included. I'm really asking real questions, and I do this every now and then, right? Just to get the updated sentiment from the people who are tapped into those communities, because I myself am not, right. I'm self-admittedly just as ignorant to other communities as people or individuals are ignorant to what's happening here within ours. And just like they don't see it when we talk about what we doing here as a unit, I don't really see it what's going on over there, even objectively speaking. So I'm really curious as to how people think and feel about these brands and projects, and not just Yuga, but Artifact as well. Like I said this earlier about the town hall meeting. I don't feel like people really jumped into the deeper roots or the deeper levels of things. And I'm looking to do that right here, right now, because I'm honestly just really curious about the sentiment of the people, not only from the projects with Yuga, but the projects here and the brand building here at Artifact. I really want to know people's thoughts and ideas. So with that being said, we were talking about clones earlier, and the floor price of clones. Vince came in here many moons ago asking, does floor price matter? We had that whole debate and that whole conversation. I said what I said then. I still stand on those points that I made then. But I do pose this question to you guys who are here now. Like, what do you think is happening next? Do you think the firepower is there? Do you think clones still hold that majestic energy that they once held, or do you think it's eluding? Do you think it's eroding? Do you think it's going to animus? Do you think it's going to Yuga? Do you think it's going to heavy metal? You know what I'm saying? Like, these are the questions that I think we should be speaking about when we have like a town hall, just so we can get the true sentiment, thoughts and ideas of individuals within the community. Go ahead, Shadow. Go ahead, Baron. It was you, Baron. Then Shadow.
I've been talking a lot. Let's go with Baron.
I think that the ball's up in the air to grab. I think that there's a lot of people that are waiting for everybody's next move. I think Artifact would be smart to make sure that they bring clones along with Animus, make sure that they're a part of that, make sure that, if you can connect a clone to an egg or whatever the way is that you can tie those two things together. They'll have fulfilled the mission of saying that, clones are God tier of by having them connected. I think that would be I think that Artifact, in my eyes, is delivering, and I think that, from my perspective, and I don't really get too into Twitter, but that the people that are part of Artifact and are receiving their stuff are happy about it. I mean, the people that I know in my life that aren't on Twitter at all are just like, they bought the thing, they were getting the gear, they think it's cool, and let's see what comes up next. And they live their daily life, not waiting for Artifact's next move. I think that with good communication and with good and like a presence, like you saw today, that's jumping up and grabbing the ball. Like, there's a lot of it, the only reason that Artifact would stay away from getting more involved and trying to rally the troops or have a Twitter presence is if they aren't ready for all that comes with that. And I think that, and I brought this up to the team before, it's like, at some point you got to decide whether you want to be a brand that's there for people's everyday attention, or if it's a brand that's only there, at points in time, at times for drops. It's not as much of a, we're here to like talk every day, and I think that at some point that's where you say, well, that's going to come from the community. So I think if Artifact defines when they're going to be present in the space and when they're going to be not, by defining, AMAs like they did today and having more detail about releases, as appropriate. I think once you purchase something, that's when you're entitled to have a little bit more detail on where that thing stands and where it is. I think having any like lore or, lack of transparency needs to be just gone in those moments, when a purchase is taking place. As purchases need to, people need to get their ETH ready. I think the team knows that. So, and then as it relates to other projects, I believe that their heads are down working to put out the best project they can, and we'll see what they can do. I don't know that I have the answer as to who's going to make it and who's going to not. But someone's going to make it. There's going to be people that make it in this deal, and I know exactly where I want my chips to lie.
No, I appreciate that answer. You get a lot of points that I can agree with as well. Shadow, I'm really curious to your point of view, because like we spoke about before, you haven't necessarily been in the ecosystem that long, but you've come through with a lot of research and development. So curious to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I will say I am newer to actually jumping into OpenSea, but I've been around crypto for the past two bull runs, so I was aware of all the NFT stuff going on. I just did not fully jump in, so I always kind of knew what was going on. But yeah, the last I would say 3 months, I've really been diving deep, and I kind of made my decision to really jump in this upcoming bull run. So here I got four things. Um, this is kind of towards artifact, but really this is towards right now. This week, I'm doing research on doodles. Um, I've already done research on Yuga Lab. I've done research on clones. I've done research on Azukis, and now I'm on doodles. I don't know what my fifth one would be, but right now I'm seeing those as the top. I guess I know a little bit about my ladies in meme land. Maybe I'll choose one of those two. But I got four things, man. And if I feel if any one of these projects does these four things, and I'm a guy who believes in bear markets and bull markets, and I think the NFT is going to follow that same pattern, just like crypto. Um, but yeah, so here's my four things. During a bear market, you need to work with your head down. Work, 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 build, 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 and plan. That's number one. This is my four steps to success of being a blue chip NFT, right? So that's number one. You work. You don't stop working. Bear market is the time where you work. Number two, okay? Number two, and this is the part that I feel like the only thing that I feel like Artifact really needs to work on is this number two one. You need to have clear communication and clear timelines. What I mean by that is, I know people have already said that they're working on kind of cleaning up, uh, having a very easy way to explain the project. I'm one of those guys where you have to elevator pitch, and you have like one chance to grab somebody's attention. If I can't really explain what Artifact is, the premise of Artifact in 30 seconds, then I'm not doing a good job, right? So they need to kind of elevator pitch their website so it grabs attention and it's easy to understand what you need to be a part of whatever side quest they're interested in, or the clones themselves. What's going on with the clones? I should be able to click a button and be able to follow through some throughput of exactly what's going on with the clones, right? Or if it was just Ramoa, maybe I'm a huge Ramoa collector. I just want to know like what's going on. There should be like a bubble or something, right? It should have full story. It should just explain it well. The way that the site is set up for people that kind of already know what's going on, not for people who don't know how to interact with the website itself. But the story is amazing. I don't know why they don't communicate that well. But then the second part is, and I've been kind of learning this because the second part to number two through you guys, and I think it was Ilan and some other people. I saw a tweet that was very interesting about the pill thing that's going on, and clearly communicating with the community when it's ready. And I think there was something about it's been like 6 weeks now. The communication has to be spot on between the project, the co-creators, and the community. I personally think the best way to do this is through community leads, because community leads can easily and immediately tell a moderator or somebody with direct connections or directly to the leaders themselves, hey, the community's a little bit confused about what's going on with this pill thing. We got to update, da 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 da. So that way they get the feedback and the heartbeat of the community immediately. So that's number two, story communication. Number three, execution. Execution, execution. You need to have with Animus, they've been cooking up Animus for a long time. There should be a plan in place, which I'm sure they have. So I'm just going down my 4 key steps. They have to execute it in a way to where it's like a build up. It needs to build into If they go, lure event into, we choose how many more eggs are going to be added into public sale, into incubation, into reveal. That is, like, in my opinion, that's an execution. That's a clear timeline. Boom, boom, boom. Right. And for whatever else collaboration, right after reveal is done, you give that a little bit of time to breathe. All right, boom, here's Monolith X. You give that time to breathe. All right, boom, here's the next one. You need to, during like bull runs and all the other stuff, you have to be executing with these drops. I hate when I see some NFT collections, or I have seen in the past, where they just kind of announce things. It's cool to announce things in the blue, but it's kind of like a drop in the bucket, and then they just completely disappear. And it's good to speculate for a little bit. That's why I love when you drop like a teaser, and then like a couple of weeks later, you're like, wait to hear more information in like August. So now we have between June and July to speculate, but we know what to look forward to. So that's why number 3 is execution. Number 4, which is my final one, if you've done all the other 3, you always have to have something your community can look forward to. So once we're done with Animus, once that's fully fledged out, once we're done with Monolith X, once we're done with whatever is left that is still yet to be done, I think maybe the shoe vials, the crypto dunks, or whatever. What is next? There always needs to be at least 1 or 2 things the community is always looking towards. Whenever you run out of gas, I feel like that's just, in my opinion, all this is my opinion, that's kind of a sign of death, right? You always need to have something your community is looking forward to, but don't have them like like a shot in the dark where it's like, yeah, we have this to look forward to. It may come out in like 2024, like we don't know. Like it, the same thing with number 3. There needs to be a reasonable explanation of when we should expect these things, even if we do not know what they are. We should at least know, like, okay, this is coming out. Like we know Animus is supposed to be coming out this year. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you do those 4 things, if you work your ass off during a bear market, if you communicate well with your community, and you execute and build up to drop after drop after drop leading into a bull run or during a bull run, and you always have something to look forward to, and your artist fire, and like which Animus and clones are, you're in my opinion, you are on the road to success, to either being a blue chip, staying a blue chip, or becoming like the top 3 blue chips that are available. And that's my long-winded kind of like what you need to do right now if you are a project. You need to be doing those 4 things. But again, that's my opinion from someone who is saving up money to get a clone. So yeah.
No, that was on point, man. That was it right there. I would say that I agree with you. I agree with you. I think a lot of those things are the switch up that we are presently going through, right? Like I said this today on the spaces that Cass had at town hall, that communication from where it was 6 months ago, 8 months ago, hell, because last year around November, December on this time, it was crazy. It's increased so much to get to this point, right? Like the FUD that we were dealing with around those times, I don't feel like it's even as close to what it once was. But in the same breath, communication could be and should be increased even more, because we still are having questions that come up, especially regarding the shipping, the items that people have purchased, and just knowing more updates about those items and when they're coming in, when can they expect it, the questions that they have for it. So that communication, I feel like, is lacking and could be better. To go with your number 2, I think we're also, to go to your number 3, the execution, or was it number 4? Something to look forward to. Whatever something to look forward to was. I feel like we're in the limbo of that right now because they have tied up the loose ends that they had that were set from 2022, all within these first 6 months of this year. Everything, with the exception of Crypto Dunks and the execution of Project Animus. They have tied up everything. And now we're in this pocket, in this present moment, where we are looking forward to something to happen. And I think that that's the gas that kind of ran out. That's why the things happened in the group chat this weekend, with the frustrations boiling and bubbling over, because we don't have anything in the present moment to be looking forward to or cheering about or be like, yo, this is it, right? Because we're just waiting for things to come through. We got the season 1 that ended. We're just waiting for it to come in. Some people are. We got the CIRLs that ended. We're just waiting for them to come in. Air Force Ones ended, waiting for it to come in. Ramoa ended, waiting for it to come in. So we just sitting here and playing a game of wait and not really looking forward to any, whether it's IRL event or another ecosystem drop. We're just waiting. And I think that's what, I don't think the gas has ran out, but with us waiting, the frustrations are mounting because, back to number 2 of what you said, the communication isn't there to build the bridge between the wait. So that's what the frustration is getting birthed from. That's where it's caused. It's within that way. So I agree, man. I agree with you. And it's a lot of stuff that we could be and should be excited about, but it just, back to number 2, takes that communication, that effective communication, for people to feel more easy about it while they wait. So I believe this is a blue chip project. I believe it's the best project in this entire Web 2.5, Web 3 ecosystem, however you want to frame it. It's the number 1 sleeper as well. Yep. But people just don't know what they don't know. And they don't know to look over here to know that this is the sleeper, the best project. So
we're the gold standard, man. And that's why I expect a little bit more from the communication side. And I think that it'll come. Everybody's learning as we go. Everything we've done wrong, we've improved on.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's like, no one can take this stuff personally when we get critical about it. Because it's like, maybe during these times because I'm of the opinion that at some point we have to be okay with being in a lull, right? Like, people have to have things going on, to fill these gaps. Like, it's just unsustainable to think that, like, there's always going to be something going on. I mean,
right,
shipping out so much stuff now. I think as the project gets more robust, there'll be things to play with and do while there is lulls, and so that problem starts to solve itself. But by Cass making himself available once a week, by just making sure to get emails out to people that don't have their stuff, specifically anybody that they see and know in the community. It's like those are easy touches for them to make sure to take care of, and otherwise, I think they're doing a freaking incredible job. I really do. I mean, and I haven't even seen, to hear Cass talk about an animus that he's seen. Like, I can feel him, like, he wants to get fired up too. You know what I mean? And that gets me excited. The thing that gets me frustrated is, with anything, is that when things are good, you can't just roll with that. You got to continue to say, all right, what do we need to keep doing? And I wish there was like someone there that was doing that, because I think everybody else's hands are full. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
But I've heard they've also made some recent hires too.
Yeah,
or that they were.
I heard the same thing. I heard that they switched up the hierarchy to get the people in places that need to be in place. But I think Cass goes to the analogy of what I said earlier about the pill. I think he's taken half of it already, so he knows so much that it's almost like sensory overload, right? Like, it's hard to be excited about Christmas presents that what they are because you wrap them yourself. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where he's at.
And I want to jump in and what Baron was saying, man. Like that is, I didn't choose. Um, I didn't choose. Yes, I found out about through the shoe drop and the shoe forging, but I still did my research on the whole project. That's just how I found out about you guys, and then I started connecting the dots. Like I said, I've done extensive research on everything, and I think every project has its own. How should I put this? They have their own lane to success. I clearly see Clone X's. I will say Clone X's and maybe Yuga Labs' too. Because Yuga Labs is basically like, look, we're going to make the best fucking metaverse, and it's going to be amazing, right? That's basically their play. They got a lot of side projects going on, but their main play is this other side and all that cool stuff. But I didn't choose clones like just off of a whim. I thoroughly went through, and you know what? I know you gotta remember, I'm coming at it from fresh energy. So take me how you guys were when you were, if you were here at that early on, when you were minting the clones, right? Or when you bought your first clone, that feeling that you guys had, that's where I'm at right now. And I do, trust me, I get the fatigue and I get the strain of like, man, what's going on, what's happening to this amazing project. I'm looking at it as from a fresh pair of eyes. I will tell you guys this. I saw what the mistakes were, and I've seen kind of the community feedback currently, and I guess throughout the last year. One thing that I'm really glad about is you guys kind of ran into some hiccups towards into the bear market. So I'm viewing it as they happen during the bear market. It's best to have these things come up and these issues come up during a bear market because you can just work on it. If this were to happen, like there's some projects that they haven't had really any hiccups. It's just kind of been everything's been good and they've been staying the top blue chip. But if they get and run into some hiccups like you guys do, like you guys had during this upcoming bull run, that's going to be very like it's going to be worse during a bull run because you don't want to lose that steam. You have to keep pushing, pushing, pushing. But I'm looking at it as this company has more to prove. They have more to prove not only to its communities because they have acknowledged listening to community feedback and growing. I've heard multiple streams where the co-creators talk about the incident. I've seen multiple streams where they talk about, what they want to do with this whole project. I've seen their passion. I'm sure every other community has leaders like this as well too. But when you actually have problems and you are like, look, guys, we're working hard to a quote unquote make this up to you guys and make sure we knock this out of the park. I believe it when it comes to the artifact project. So from a fresh pair of eyes, if they work on the communication, like that's what's been the most recent thing I've been noticing is like, okay, the communication is a little bit off. They fix the communication and give more accurate timelines of when they know for sure they can start saying, hey, prepare for this and this and this in the future. Man, I feel like they've already done the hard part, which is number one, which is work, work, work. They just need to work on the communication and the execution, really. And once they do those two things, I feel like in my opinion, I feel like they will be good. There's probably a lot that we don't know about, which is probably why Cass, how he probably gets super excited because he's probably seeing things from when they become ideas to pen and paper, right? It's easy to be on board when oh, that idea and that idea is already being, worked on stage 1, 2, whatever. So yeah, for us though, we need that communication and that guidance of, hey, this is what's coming up. This is what's happening with this that we've announced. And hey, guys, everybody get ready. Once August comes, all the clothes and the shoes and the bags and everything should be here. And towards the fourth quarter of this year, it's going to be the artifact year. Like, something crazy like that, right? That would be like, okay, now we have clear understanding of where we're heading and what's coming up. Alone, I think, is next.
What's up, Alone?
Yo, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Good, man. We are good.
We're doing really, really good alone. Thanks for asking.
Good. Well, I have a couple of takes, but first off, I just want to say something. I want to say, I said some words over the weekend in the chat, and I think a couple of them were kind of unfair. First of all, so I want to own up to that. I don't believe it's fair to make judgments on people you haven't made, and I definitely did that. So I want to apologize for that and own the fact that I don't think that that was necessarily fair on my end. So I want to kind of preface everything else I'm going to say with that, because that was my bad, and that's something that I have to man up to, because honestly, I wouldn't want that being done to me. That's not the way I kind of walk through life, like in real life as a human being, and I don't think it was fair. So that was not cool, and I want to apologize for that. So I want to start off with that and just own that, because I'm imperfect, you know what I mean? But there's a couple of takes that I have that I think are maybe a little bit different than other people, and I want this to be an open conversation. So I just want to state at the beginning that no one has to agree with me, and we can have the dialogue. And I think sometimes, I'm a blunt person, so sometimes text is probably not the best way to convey these things, but I also didn't convey myself properly in the chat. So I'm owning up to that. In terms of Artifact, I think it's such a vast ecosystem. So I think there's a lot of confusion out there with people, the way it's perceived, depending on whom is perceiving it, first and foremost. I think that out of any project that I've come across, aside from one of one artists and other aspects of the NFT space, I think it has the longest legs and the most potential. And it is actually doing the most tangible things. And it's kind of touching upon a lot of different aspects that, because of the fact that it is kind of Web3 and they're building in public, a lot of people don't see how it's all going to get tied together, even though the team might. And that's where some of the frustration, I think, comes in from certain people. I think certain people are in this project for different reasons. I think there's a lot of people that are in here for the streetwear aspect of it and that cultural aspect. That doesn't interest me at all. And I'm not saying this I'm not judging anyone. So when I say something doesn't resonate with me, I don't want to make it seem like I'm judging people. Man, different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? I'm never judging people for what they like and what they don't like. I'm a different kind of individual. I'm a very weird kind of cat. I kind of walk the line between a bunch of different things, between a bunch of different intersecting points. And, what I look like I am on the surface isn't necessarily what I am, and neither is anyone else. So I just want to say that even though I'm opinionated, I'm never judging what other people like. So I think some people like the streetwear aspect of it. I think the same in the same aspect or the same facet that people like the whole streetwear and the Nike culture. There's people that are turned off by that, especially in the Web3 space. Maybe some people that like more grassrootsy type things and that want this space to be something that is not a corporate place. And I kind of fall into that paradigm, if I'm going to be completely honest. But that's again, no judgment, because there's a lot going on here. Then there's the clone aspect, which is what got me into the project. And I love the clones. I love the whole gamification of everything. I love the way, at the beginning, the whole rollout of all the monoliths and the quests, and the way the whole they brought the whole community aspect together. I think that was something really cool and really special for a project. And then there's other people that like the tech, and there's so many creative people in Artifact, more so than a lot of other projects, that I think, again, there's so many reasons why different people are here. But for me, from my feel and from what I've gathered, and again, doesn't mean I'm right. It's kind of we're all plugged into different corners. But I think sometimes things that frustrate people about this project, which is a little bit where I was coming from, is the fact that I think on the creative side, the creatives, I think people have different expectations. Whether those expectations are valid or not, it doesn't really matter. But I think certain people came into this as creatives, into this ecosystem, expecting, I don't know if it's to get something out of it, but more to build something around what the brand is doing. And I know that there are some people that feel frustrated by perhaps not being seen. Now, Do I agree with them? Do I not? It's not really my point to say because I don't have any skin in that game. Like, I'm an artist, I'm working on my own stuff, but I don't, I'm not going to brand myself with my clone. I'm not like trying to build content for like Artifact, and I'm not talking about anyone in specific. I'm really like umbrellaing this over like, just what I'm hearing from different people. But I think, when people see others getting recognition and a lot of people that might not be in the ecosystem, I'm talking about some influencers and things, and I understand the need to kind of like play the game and to give things to people that are going to spread the word and all that. I think like people sometimes, creatives, feel like they've devoted a lot of energy into kind of doing things around this ecosystem, and I think they feel like not slighted but kind of snubbed sometimes. And whether that's right or not, I think there is a contingent of people and there is like a feeling that goes out where there's a disconnect between potentially people that are heading the project and what certain people feel like they would like to get out of it. Whether that's right or not, I'm not here to say that, but I know that sentiment does exist. And, I think one of the things that I like about like I'm fucking more with one of one artists like these days in the space in terms of projects kind of turn me off because so many of them like under deliver, do not like do what they say they're going to do, and that is not Artifact is almost doing too much, and people again don't see how it's all going to come around, and I will always give them credit for like having big like vision. I think sometimes for me personally, like I would rather see Artifact go and give some stuff out to people who have been like day ones and like kind of like doing things for dot swoosh or doing things for whatever, and like show that they're supporting the community. And I think that would ripple well outwardly in the like web3 space more than like seeding LeBron some shoes and kind of doing like a collab with Ramoa, where to some people in this space, and I'm not talking about in this community, that comes off as a bit pretentious. But I think if there was more of a focus on kind of like, and look, I could be wrong and you all could bitch slap me and say you're wrong about this, and that's totally fine. And I'm going to stop here so you guys can like pick up from here. But I think in the greater Web3 space, the reason why Artifact doesn't catch on is not only the fact that they are so vast and people don't understand and the communication. I think it's because they focus more on these big ideas, doing things with these big luxury brands because they want to be a luxury brand. And sometimes people don't want to see that. People want to see like, well, what are they doing for their community? What are they doing for the creatives more than making a website in there? And again, I'm not saying this because of me, because that's not the game I'm playing here. I'm just like observing it like as someone who does like clones, who likes a lot of you guys, and I could be wrong, but that's kind of sometimes I feel where some frustration comes into like the into play. And sometimes where I feel like other people in the Web3 space do not connect with Artifact. And that's kind of like my angle, But again, I want to own what I said. That wasn't cool what I said. I should never fucking talk about people that I haven't met, and that is my bad. That was a dick move, and I'm going to own up for that, and I want to apologize for that. All that being said.
I appreciate you, Alone. It was a lot of energy in the group chat this weekend, and if you're not in the group chat, you just missed it because we're not going to go back into it. But I appreciate you coming in here and saying that, because it was points that was being made not only from yourself but from other people as well. And I have to be honest, I had to bite my tongue on it because I was like, man, I can tell where the energy is at. People are just feeling in some type of way. And on some real shit, I just didn't want to argue about bullshit. I just didn't want to be like, you don't, you know what I'm saying? So for you to come up here and even admit to yourself, admit to us and say, yo, I kind of jumped the gun on that, my bad. It's huge of you. It takes a big person to do that, and I appreciate you doing that.
I don't want to cut you off, but I saw that you were biting your tongue, and I knew it. And like, I love you guys, man. I don't want to create like any dissension between everyone. I know that I'm opinionated, and that's just kind of the way I am. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but yes, I was wrong. That wasn't cool, and there was a lot of like intense energy in there, and a lot of that, I contributed to. So I have to own up on that because I'm a stand-up kind of guy. So I recognize that, Dre, and and that's why I wanted to come up here, because I do feel like we're family, like I'll never air shit on the timeline. I'll always want to like, if I'm going to say shit, I feel like I'm saying it because I feel like close to you people, whether or not that may be valid or not. So I just want to explain myself, and I appreciate you too, man.
Nah, that's real. You are, and you said it in. I think you said it in the best place to say it. That's what I want to happen for real. Like we are very intimately close when it comes to this community and its projects. That's the best place to have those opinions, and there's nothing wrong with you having your own opinion. And that's honestly the point I was going to make when I was biting my tongue to say that you know I have experienced certain people in person to understand their energy and get a better grasp of who they were as individuals. That's the only point. I was gonna go into that rabbit hole, but I knew that would have opened up so many more conversations. And I was like, yo, just I want people to feel like they are able to vent whatever direction they're going in when it comes to being here and being a part of this community. So I appreciate you being real because it's better than us being in an echo chamber. And I appreciate you, being able to say, yo, I kind of lost it, my bad. Let me reel it back in because we all do so. Like you said, we're all imperfect. So it is what it is. But it's something I want to say to this is the points that you made about the perspective that you have or that you have seen others hold when it comes to the execution of this project and brand building and the direction they're taking it. Those are great points. And those are points that I've heard from other individuals as well to gather more of their perspective so I can get an all-around picture of the sentiment that's being held here as a community. And I will say to that, people will always say or give an opinion on where they believe things should go as an individual, right? Like we see that same sentiment echoed throughout the entire Twitter space, right? People always like, yo, we should do it this way. Why are you guys doing this? It should be done this way. And like you said, some people are in this community specifically for different things. I've said it many of times. The streetwear component is huge. The tokenization component is huge. The technology front of it all is humongous as well. And people who initially came into this project had no idea about a streetwear component even being integrated into the project. Because we didn't know anything about Nike when we minted this thing off the top. But it soon came out to be that way. And even that point within itself gives you a greater understanding of where the direction of this project could or will go. Being owned or acquired by a major conglomerate like that, some people have said is a gift and a curse, right? Because they are now moving with certain restrictions, I guess you could say, when it comes to execution, because Big Brother's going to say, yo, this is the best idea for you to go, right? Or they might not say anything at all. We don't know the intricacies of the behind the scenes on who, what direction they're going or how they're building these things. We can only assume. But with that being said, them having a streetwear component that introduces shoes, physicals, and digitals alike within this ecosystem, the seeding makes sense to me. LeBron getting a pair makes sense to me. But in the same breath, you saying, hey, or the people that you've spoken to, that I've spoken to as well, saying, hey, they should focus more on the creators. They should focus more on this. I get that point as well, but that might not be what they want to do or where they want to take these things. Like, I think the proof is in the pudding, and they've never restricted on utilizing their words to showcase exactly where they want to go. They've always spoon-fed us hints and ideas on how and what they wanted to do to execute. And I think this is just all part of the trajectory in doing that. The seated shoes, the streetwear, infusing that with the technology and the tokenization that builds out this entire project. So it's going to be people who always like, yo, they should do it like this. I don't understand that. Oh, we feel slighted because they haven't done this. Oh, this is something that we feel like something should happen. And I think the point behind all of that is those opinions are and should be welcomed as well. Those same people should be using their voices to get those opinions out within this community, because Kaz has said it many times. A lot of the times that they hear us speak, it might pivot the direction of where they're going anyway. So that's what the situation is. And that's, I think, is also in the same breath the fault, because those same people won't say those quotes on a public front like this or in a group chat like the ones we have. They'll say it in their own pockets and go back and forth with those conversations. And then those points never get introduced to the greater side of the community, the bigger side of the community, to be heard, to even be considered, because no one's speaking about it. And that goes back to my main point of what I said in the beginning of the space. It doesn't matter how many town halls or how many days in a row you can have a bad take being placed in the Twitter spaces. If people aren't communicating how they truly feel, it's only going to go in one direction, or a specific direction, towards the people who are.
And
and
I think sometimes
that's the same point that I got across to the same people that you're speaking about, because that's effective communication is where it begins and where it ends. And that's something that needs to be applied more from the individual front, and not be placed on the founders for them to be like, "Oh, why are you doing this?" Like, yo, why didn't you say anything to let me know how you felt so we could have made a choice to do something else? You see what I'm saying? So that's all it is. More point being, more effective communication like this being applied in spaces like this, and or the town halls, and or the group chats, or like I said, in the town hall, a Discord chat, wherever people feel comfortable doing so. But they have to use their own individual voices to be able to hold conversations that can build better bridges if they feel like it's something that needs to be done on a construction front. That's it.
I think sometimes, just to touch into that, I don't want to cut off Rusby or Tevi. I think people feel like they may be ostracized if they do that. I think people feel like, if they go against the grain, and I'm just speculating here. I'm not like talking for anyone. I'm just kind of like trying to like understand, because as you can see, I don't care about that. I'm not afraid to voice my opinions that are contrarian. Again, the way I did that in the group chat was not cool. The way I'm doing it here is a lot better and a lot more constructive, obviously. So I would rather do this, but I'm not afraid to do that. But I think sometimes, quote unquote, the echo chamber vibe, or people fear that echo chamber potentially, and they feel that if they go and they are the contrarian, it's gonna like kind of put them, like alienate them or ostracize them a little bit more. And again, I'm saying this because I think it's important to talk about these things. And, I heard you when I just kind of popped in here, Dre, say you wanted people to say the real shit. So that's why I wanted to come up and say that, because I feel like these things are important to talk about, whether they're valid or not, if they exist, whether they're founded in reality or just people's emotions, it still needs to be kind of like worked through, right, in order to kind of move forward. But I think sometimes people feel like, if you don't pump the tires of Artifact, well, then, you're going to not get the love. And I think that's a legitimate fucking thing, because sometimes people, like, I like Artifact a lot. I have my opinions about things, but the two aren't mutually exclusive, right? I can still have criticisms about something and really be a champion of other things. But I think people feel like worried that in doing so and in voicing potentially a contrarian opinion, it's going to get them ostracized. And that's where kind of like it doesn't happen, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. It definitely does. But I think from the experience that I've had and the things that I've seen throughout this time of me being a part of the community, I can't say that's necessarily true. I can understand why people feel that way, because we have seen examples of other people being, blackballed for certain choices that they made, or how deep of a direction they went into when they've had those kind of conversations. It's goes back to how you communicate. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Some people do take very extreme actions and then look back and say, yo, what happened? I didn't even do nothing. And say, yo, bro, you slapped him in the face, open hand slap, but you spit on your hand before you slapped him. What you think was going to happen, right? How you expect for them to reply to that? But that comes down to self-sustainability and individually taking responsibilities for your own actions. And that's a whole nother conversation. So I see the point that you're making, but I don't think that's part of it. Like, you don't always have to punt the. We hear if they hear listening to us and paying attention to the conversations we're having, and they make pivots off of those said conversations. I believe it happens both ways. They listening to the things that necessarily don't go with the plans that they had initially, just as much as they listen to us praising the executions that they're making. And it just goes down to effective communication. Individuals can't be reluctant to speak if they want to have their voice heard, wherever direction it is.
Yeah. I don't know any good relationship that doesn't involve good communication.
I appreciate this dialogue. Who's
Yeah,
next?
no, I just want to say, like, I think there's people. Sorry to. I think there's people that like, they definitely have valid reasons to maybe feel a certain way. Um, but at the same time, it's all in like how you approach the communication side of that. Like, if if you're like trying to make some moves with your IP and you want to align yourself with Artifact and you want to kind of stay in their good graces, it probably behooves you to maybe play the cut a little bit more and kind of roll with the punches a bit better. If this is something that like I'm not speaking for anybody because I have no skin in the game. I'm just sitting here trying to get free shit. So, so no, I'm joking. But like it's just kind of how you approach it and like what you kind of have to pick your battles. Like if that's one thing I've learned in life, man, like you really got to pick and choose your battles because you man, you don't make a mountain out of a molehill. You know what I mean? Like I understand shipping dates and stuff, and that's coming from somebody who got his stuff right away. So again, I have no skin in the game, but it's frustrating and it sucks. And when you come out of the pocket that much money and you wait and wait and wait and you see everybody else getting their stuff and you got events that you could be rocking your stuff to and you don't have it, I get it, bro. I understand it. This is coming from a sneakerhead, bro. Like I get it. Trust me. At the same time, we're talking about Artifact. We're talking about Nike. Nike, when they invest a undisclosed amount of money, they don't fail. They just don't. That's what they do. This is what they do. They take over. They learn and they take over. And that's what they're doing. And they build behind the scenes. They never speak about what they do. If you know anything about Nike, they don't talk about it. It's not something that you're not gonna hear leaks. You're not gonna hear this. You're not gonna hear that. You might for a little bit, but then somebody's fired. This is very under the radar type of stuff. So it's frustrating because there's not a ton of communication, but at the same time, it's just the way the game's played because they have a huge IP that they need to protect and there's sharks in these waters and they will take what they have and they will run with it, man. I'm telling you, these other companies are watching. They're waiting for Nike to slip up. They're waiting for Artifact to slip up. They're just waiting. They're on the sidelines. They're looking. They're hungry. And if they can keep it under the cuff as much as they can, that benefits everybody in the community. And I know it sucks, but it's just the game that we're playing. So,
And to that point too, that's an excellent point, man. Like, if you're looking to do something and you truly enjoy this brand, this community that we're a part of, why talk shit about it? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand. Like, those are the same dudes who love their wife at home, but then go home and beat her to show how much they love her, and they call that love. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? It doesn't make sense. I'm missing many items from the season 1 drop. Many items, but no one has heard me say a thing about it because I understand the process. And I also know what's the point of me coming to y'all and saying, yo, bro, I'm missing X, Y, Z, A, B, C. I need this. I reached out. Somebody told me to wait. I've been waiting. What's up? Like, what's the point of me doing that? That's not going to get me anything faster. It's not going to get anything quicker. It's just going to add more fuel to the fire to increase the FUD for other people on the outside looking in to say, yo, I knew it was fucked up over there. Let me go over here and say that. Right? And I said this to everyone before. I don't fan the shit that happens in my household in the street because everybody's looking for that fault to be like, oh, yep, I knew that was some bullshit. Don't mess with that. They're not even taking care of their own people. Like, they cannot wait to be at the sharks in the water that Russy's talking about. They can't wait to smell that blood. They'd be like, ooh, time to get them. So I don't get that perspective. And even to the point of what you're talking about alone, like the people who feel slighted, I understand, and we talking about the same people because I've had the conversations with them face to face. I've talked to a lot of the same people you're talking to, but at the same time, you cannot align yourself with someone who you know has been doing, lack of better words, fuck shit that includes IP and looked at in a negative way, and then wonder why you're looked at in that negative way as well. What are you trying to gain from aligning yourself with someone that you know is doing something that's offensive to the brand and or the community that you are a part of? Again, using a wife analogy, if you know your wife has an op out there who's been talking shit and treating them bad and trying to smudge their name in the dirt, and you go align yourself with how does that work? What are you saying? And then you come home like, yeah, what's up? Like, what? No, ain't no, ain't no what's up. You chose what side you was wanting to play on. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? So those are the things. And to finalize the point, and we're gonna go to Tabby because I don't speaking enough, but that's the whole point of having these town halls. So those people who feel slighted or feel some type of way or feel like their voice hasn't been heard or feel like their essence hasn't been seen or feel anything, come and discuss it there. That was the official time to do so. And these people don't show up, but then they get upset about it. And again, we have bad take every single day at the same time and have for weeks of now months come through. What are we doing right now? We having a discussion about the same thing that we were talking about during the town hall, but in a deeper rooted level. Well, how come you're not here now? You know what I'm
And
saying?
typically in bad take, there's usually an artifact employee or a moderator within the group listening. So like, you could say what you gotta say. You know what I mean? Like, this is an open space, bro. If you really got some shit on your chest, get it off.
Well, that's the best part about this, right, Russ?
110%. And we hear every single day. But those people will say, yo, I feel like we can't talk there. Like, what the fuck? Why not? Everybody else is.
Yeah, it's the best part about
Hero
this
coming
thing.
here talking all types of shit every
Bro,
night.
for real,
Joe
this
Fudd is
isn't an
knocking back.
artifact space. This
You
is
know
a
what I
bad
mean?
take space. You know what I
Well,
mean?
And that was the whole point of having a bad take space. So people didn't feel like, damn, I don't want to say this on Artifact's official space. Come here and fire it off and let's have a discussion. They might say something that might open up a different perspective for me. And that's the reason why I've had the conversations with these individuals off the record, because I was looking to gain a different perspective. The same reason why I brought up these topics tonight with you guys, speaking about not only Artifact, but Yuga. Yo, let's have a conversation. Maybe I'll learn something from you and your perspective. And I'm eager to hear it and to learn. But these people, they choose not to. They go back to the cave and talk about my precious and upset that somebody else holding the ring. Like, it don't
well,
add
that's
up.
why I
It don't
come
add
out
up.
here and own my shit, at least, you know what I mean, and own like my stupidity in not doing that, or take advantage of this opportunity to kind of like not like put my money where my mouth is, but to try and like elucidate and be a little bit more eloquent, but also own the fact that I shouldn't have done things in that way because this place exists, and because I agree with you, Dre. I like, you know, what's the point of saying something like, and I'm talking about myself, if I'm not going to either back it up or come into a place and explain myself further or own up to the fact that I shouldn't have done that and say that I was wrong. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like, I do agree with you in that like sense, 100%.
Man, that's why the growth is here, man. You know what I'm saying? For real, I've seen you, I've met you multiple times. We had many deep rooted conversations face to face. And this is why I fuck with you, because we do this. And we might not agree about everything, we don't. But we can at least hold a space where we can have conversations just to gain a better perspective and a better understanding for each other as individuals. And that's where growth
We don't need
lies.
to agree. We
So if
just need to
some
respect each other, you know? And that's where I
Period.
fell
And I
short.
have the utmost
That's where I
respect.
fell.
I have the utmost respect for you. You know what I'm
And I
saying? You know
you,
that.
but that's where I fell short in the chat because the way I approached shit wasn't respectful, and I have to own that, because that's the type of person I am. I'm not perfect, but I'm going to own my mistakes and just acknowledge them. And you guys create that container, and I feel safe doing that here. And I think that's what it's about, man. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No, for
you're right.
sure. For sure. And I agree with you. But that's exactly why we created this, so we can have this. This is why we had so much fun on the timeline before, because we didn't have this. And people didn't feel like they could do this. This is what honestly just eradicated the huge majority of all the bullshit we was going through 8 months ago. So it's hard for me I hear the individuals who are speaking about their precious, but it's hard for me to fully embrace it all, because like I'll say it to them, and I said it to them, you have the opportunity to have these conversations. Have the conversation. I go up to them and say, yo, I understand maybe communicating this type of way isn't your thing, but it is mine. Would you like for me to set up something we can have a conversation? Like, I'll do and take the steps to try to build the bridges to fill the gaps. But they shoot it down. No, man, it ain't gonna work. What's the point? Whatever it may be. But it's like, all right, well, okay, then what's your other option? Move on and leave it alone. Like, ain't nothing I can do. I've tried. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. We looking to have change. It starts with effective communication, but all individuals who are looking to institute that change have to be a part and have to be willing to speak and have that communication bridge be built. Tevy just gonna keep his hand up. My bad, Tevy, man. My bad. I was going on to go.
I wasn't sure if you guys were done. No, like all joking aside, this is a great conversation. Yeah, this is really good stuff. A lot of the points that like I was gonna make or wanted to make have been made. But I did take some notes on things that I do want to cover and touch on. So maybe starting with the fact that and I'll speak from actually, let me start first by saying, Alone, man, I appreciate you actually coming in and framing things the way you did. I mean, you and I joke around and talk behind the scenes and stuff, and I kind of see how you move and everything, and that honestly held true to who you are and who you've been claiming that you are. I haven't met you in person, but like real talk, I was waiting to see how you were going to navigate that after the weekend, right? Because we don't have to agree on everything, but I think the respect has to be there. And if nothing else, I want you to know that if you care or not, the respect from me to you has gone up like tenfold, like real talk. And I was already vibing with you and everything, but this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, this is not little kids running around acting a fool. It's not people, or it's not just cartoon pictures on a screen running around. It's people behind all these PFPs. So, like I said, I want to acknowledge that before I even get into what I want to talk about and stuff. So, I appreciate you, and c'était vraiment cool ce que tu as fait. So, with that, few things. I think first off, I will say that I picked Artifact and this project for their vision. And I emphasize their, because this is their project, this is their brand, this is what they want to accomplish. That is what attracted us here in the first place. But I speak for myself. That's what attracted me here in the first place, like what they were building. And so when I do go to those dark, and I'm a pretty balanced, sensible guy, like I do pride myself in being level-headed and everything, and looking for the positive in everything. But everybody is going to have that moment where they feel slighted, they feel frustrated, and even if you try to like internalize it, like it blows up. And I think that's why, again, having a space where you can kind of come in, whether it's in the DM or already in the open like this, and vent, and and get it off your chest is important. And the people who care about you, who actually do value you, will act on that and try to bring that comfort, right? And I don't mind saying that when that happened to me, like Cass was there, Anya was there, Dre was there, Comp was there, Rose, everybody in the Bate crew was there for me. And they, Prez, like everyone was there kind of providing that insight on like, man, we, sorry that happened to you, right? And that's real, and acted on it. Now, there's nothing wrong with venting, and I think it's healthy. But venting just for the sake of venting and not moving past the venting piece, I think is where personally, I think makes no sense. And I know that threshold where people stop venting and move to problem solving is different. So everyone's going to be different on that spectrum and how long you need to get there. But at some point, you got to decide for yourself: are you gonna just not do anything, or are you going to actually act and be the change that you want to see? So like, if something's not working the way that you want, then you need to actively drive that change. You can make recommendations, all these things, but if the people that you're providing that feedback to are not acting, there's absolutely zero stopping you from taking it into your own hands and building your own brand. And that's why I started with, everybody's here because of what Artifact is built. That's what attracted you, their vision, their brand. And there's nobody holding you here. And like I said, I'm not trying to be crass or whatever, but there's nobody stopping you, putting a gun to your head and saying you have to hold these assets, right? So we're all choosing to be here, all choosing to spend our energy here, all choosing to interact and build these relationships. If that's no longer working for you, you can move on. Like, no one's going to shame you for it. And if you want to come back later because you're in a better place or whatever it is, you can come back. Like, we've had those conversations. So that's one thing. Number two, and I think Alone, you made that point, which I thought was actually an excellent point. It's everybody's here for different reasons. And what's really cool about the Artifact ecosystem, and one thing that I go back to, is it is vast. It's a double-edged sword, but it is vast. If you're a creator and an artist, there is a place for you. If you're a fashionista and you like street culture, there's a place for you. If you're a gamer and that's your jam, there's a place for you. If you just love tech and cool stuff, guess what? There's a place for you. If you're looking to build, maybe build a career and all that stuff, there's a place for you. The difference is, when are we on your arc versus the other people's arc? And it's kind of like a rotating wheel. And, everybody's going to have their time in the sun, but it just kind of goes through. And so that's really where that patience comes in, where, like we all have, and I guess I'll try to speak for myself because I tend to like project and generalize, but when things are not on the arc that I'm interested in, I have to keep telling myself, I'm like, well, like longer term vision, ultimately we get to what's interesting to me, right? So I think that's important. Focus on your own execution. Good work does not go unnoticed. Yes. So that's another thing. A lot of artists claim to be builders, and they're focused on their craft and all that stuff. And I'll just use my own example, because again, I don't want to speak for somebody else or pretend that I know everybody's situation. So I'll just focus on myself. When I started doing 3D stuff, like, my goal is not to be a 3D artist, make a living off of it or anything. It was simply the fact that I was seeing a bunch of people around me, super talented, and I still do, right, creating cool, dope stuff. I'm a big anime fan. And I was like, so to me, it was like, you know what? If I can get to a point where I can actually animate stuff for myself and I can show it off to my kids and impress them, then goddamn, I'm going to do it. I'm learning a new skill. I'm leveling up myself. This benefits me 100% at the end of the day, no matter what happens with Artifact. I have my files and I'm learning a new skill. And initially, when I was posting, I would tag the artifact creator account. I mean, I was nobody, right? Like I had maybe like 10 followers or whatever. I wasn't getting retweeted by anybody, but I kept going. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a point where that feeling came in of, man, like I'm trying, but it's the same people that keep getting the retweets and all these things. They're the same people getting the love. Like, what am I doing wrong, or how do I get more visibility? Guess what did I do? I reached out to some of the people that I saw were actually getting that visibility and be like, man, like, what are you doing differently? Let me learn from you if you're willing to share anything, right? And how am I presenting myself in a way that I can either, one, get the additional guidance, two, get the insight, and then three, get a little bit more visibility. And then when you do that, and that's why community is important, right? Like you're aligning yourself with people that have different skill sets than you have, and ultimately you can augment yourself. And so I had a choice to either whine, complain, and get discouraged, or push through and again focus on what I wanted to do, regardless of whether or not I was getting the recognition. And one thing that I know from IRL, like real life, is your work will shine through. If you're putting dope stuff out there, somebody will recognize it at some point or another. And it might not be as quickly as you want, or it might be a lot faster than you expected. But either way, good work does not go unnoticed. The last, um, the last thing I will say is, it doesn't matter. And I think you guys made that kind of ended the conversation there before I started talking, but whether you agree or disagree with one another, like I think if people are coming from a respectful place and you're expressing yourself in a way that's not off-putting to the person across from you, they're 1,000 times more willing to listen to whatever you have to say. It doesn't matter if you have like the best idea in the world, the best point that you're making, but you're coming off as just like pompous, disrespectful, and you're again aligning yourself with people that nobody wants to be aligned with. And I'm not talking about anyone in specific, just like real talk. Then the problem is you're putting up, there's like a wall that goes up instantly, and nobody can vibe with you and resonate with you. It doesn't matter how great your work is, they still don't want to vibe with you. So you got to think, people have to think beyond just, we keep saying web. And that's one thing that, if I'm being honest, kind of irritates me a little bit. But whatever, it's Web3 moves so fast. And we talk like Web3 does not exist in this reality. It does. Like, you're still dealing with real people, with real lives, with real emotions. And therefore, the way you're conducting yourself online and offline has to be on the up and up. If you are not respectful and you're putting people off, then nothing's going to work out for you. And it doesn't matter how great you are. And so that's what I'm like, you can't focus on like the next 2 months or the next 2 weeks. You really got to think about, what is it that you're trying to accomplish. That's what I think about. What am I trying to accomplish? How does the next move that I'm making help that vision, and how do I get there? And hopefully along the way, I'm meeting some really cool people, making some really great connections that, again, are not just surface leveled, right? Like, this is not just about getting that extra like or whatever it is. No, it's truly about building some real relationships with people that otherwise I would never run into. That's why I love cars and customizing cars and go and doing that stuff, because I would meet people that I would never meet. This is why Clone is amazing. Like, I'm meeting people that I would never in a lifetime probably run into, because we're, one, in different places in the world, two, running in different circles. Like, let's be real, like there's people that are like way up the the food chain from a wealth perspective, and people that are not doing so hot. But either way, we're all here with the same interest, and supporting one another. So bottom line, long way to say that this is why communication is so important, and this is why you have to be authentic in what you're bringing to the table. But you also have to look in the mirror. It's like, if you're out there, and I love that analogy that Dre put out there earlier. It's like, I mean, like, you just slap somebody across the face, spit on your hand and everything, and you're like, man, I didn't know I did that. I love you. I'm like, well, then why did you slap me? Like, that's not how this works. So I don't know, man. Like people have to own up and take accountability for their actions. As far as the founders and everything, like they're not perfect, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that they do no wrong. They have their own cross that they have to carry. But as far as like what they're trying to build and everything, I'm 100% on board with that. Like no one's doing the stuff that, as far as I know, that they're doing, and I love what they're trying to accomplish. And I'm here for it. Like, yes, I'll go on spaces and I'll joke around and I'll say, send me my stuff, but it's not coming from a place of like, I don't think they're working on it. It's like, is it going to speed it up? Probably not. But, it's like, I wouldn't even be spending the money in the first place if I didn't think that they were going to deliver. So anyways, that was long. I was looking at my notes and trying to hit on all the points that I wanted to make and not rehash too much of the stuff that was already said. But that's how I really feel. And so maybe one more thing, since there are people from the team in the audience, and this is absolutely real. Like I'm not even gonna try to mince my words. If there's something else that you guys can like turn back to the team, is to really consider who they are, and it's water under the bridge, but who they are going out to when we're talking about influencers and people that we're upholding in a community, because that does have an impact on how people view the project ultimately. When we're doing gifts, and I know that people are going to do what they want to do, but when we're gifting things to certain people that are not the most upstanding people in the community, it sends the wrong message. It 100% does. Now, me personally, it doesn't bother me. Like I'll move on. Like it, but I know that it gets to some people, and it actually hurts them because they're here day in and day out, trying to put their craft out there, and they're not on the receiving end of it. So it's a fine balance. I don't know how, and I don't have a solution. It's more of a something to think about, and how do you navigate that. Um, but just being mindful of where are some of these things going. Like when we have someone like by Lalo getting a clone, amazing. When we have like where it makes sense, like those are some of the things that's like, oh my freaking god, like yes, like that's you showing that you care for your community. But when we're going to like people that are just like influencers, and I'm not going to name names, but when we some random people that are not even here anymore, that weren't here in the first place because they cared about this community or the founders for that matter, and literally spit in their face, how does that look to everybody else? Like everybody else just feels slighted, right? So like I said, this is as real as I don't think I've ever been like this direct before, but I think this is the place for it, right? So take it for what it's worth. I like I said, I lurk in some of the chats, and I listen to how, but that's why people feel the way they do. Like that's real. Those people have to act as well, but I think it's not just one way. There's some learning and growth that has to happen all the way around, and I'll end with, I love the way we're moving right now. I love where we're going, and I love the growth that has happened in the last 6 to 9 months, and I'm beyond excited for where we're going. So, if nothing else, know that I'm in full support of everything that we're doing, and the trust is there, and I'm happy to be here. So that was a lot, but that's how I feel.
I thought you stopped like 10 minutes ago, and then you started back up again.
I know.
It was fucking sick. Like you're like, that was a lot, and then you're like, well, one more thing. I don't know, man. I respect Heavy just because he's here every night. I hope that everybody gets a chance to meet these founders one day and just see like the heart that's in these guys, and how much they care, and how like real they are as human beings. It'll be a cool day when that happens, when everybody's had a chance to do that, and knowing how human these people are, and like they're they're in the trenches, man. And I think that if you hang around art, like if you come to IRL events, it just will naturally happen. They don't like separate themselves from others. And yeah, I to me, people have to speak up is the biggest thing, and do so in the right way. No one can read your mind. Um, and and the other thing is you got to do like a sanity check. It's like you got to tell a friend first. It's like, am I just like cranky today, or is this like a real issue with the project, or is this me? You know what I mean? And sometimes, we can get caught in our own ruts here. And so, I appreciate everybody open up. I'd love to hear more, to be honest, because I know that anytime I've got a little something in my head, if I get up and tell a group of people about it, man, there's a healing effect that takes place. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, maybe like the one quick thing I do want to make sure that I also say, right, is yeah, I have not had the pleasure, and I use the word pleasure very intently here, to meet the founders. However, if you take the time, and this is why research is important, if you take the time, if you care about the ecosystem and you care about where this is going, and you actually take the time to go and watch every interview, which I did, of each of the founders, how they move, how they communicate, what they say, you cannot tell me, and this is my truth, you cannot tell me that they're not passionate, that they do not care about the community and the project. You can have your own opinion, but there is no way that you can convince me. Like, the only way that I would be convinced otherwise is if I met them and their energy was different. Because if I can get that through them being on stage, talking, interacting with, whatever the topic is, and just kind of hearing how they're thinking about this. And mind you, there is a level of consistency in the message they've been delivering since the earliest interview I could find, which was was Clegg talking about Akira and what they were going to do. And this was like way back before, they blew up. And it's been that same vibe, same message through and through. And so the beautiful thing about consistency, and whether somebody's authentic or not, it comes down to that consistency. Like, yeah, the people will grow and evolve, and things will change a little bit, but does the core of the message and the values that they uphold stand? And from everything I've seen, like through interviews and everything from the people that I know here on the stage and beyond the stage, who have met them, have said, like, it's like I don't understand when people are like, nah, they don't care, like, or they only care about themselves. I think different personas, people are going to view things differently, but that's not how it comes across to me. And that's another big reason why, like I'm focused here, right? And like why I believe in the direction that this is going in. So I wanted to make sure that I at least got that I also said that, um, yeah, to this group. Like, it's not even it's to this group. Like, so you guys fully understand where I'm at with this, right? It's like, I'm not here to, like stroke anybody's ego, because frankly, I get nothing from it. But if I see greatness, I'm going to call it out. If I see crap, I'm going to call it out. And actually, I might not call it out because it's not worth my time. And that's frankly where I'm at. That's where, and again, being real, where Comp and I are a little different, right? Like, and I appreciate Compound because the way he's been moving and being able to call people out, and same for Dre and a few others, like a spade, but do it in a respectful way. That takes energy. Like, that's not energy that I want to spend, because I don't think those people even deserve my time. Like, I'm very protective of my time. And like, if people don't want to learn and they want to, run down this weird path of just fud for the sake of fudding because it looks cool and that's a cool thing to do, let them do it. To your question maybe earlier, going further back, of does the floor price matter? Not to me, because again, I'm not thinking about today or tomorrow. I'm thinking about 10 years from now. And where is this project? Again, not a project, it's a brand. Where will this brand be 10 years from now? Definitely not here. Like, not at this level. It's going to be bigger. And so my time horizon is much longer than probably the average person. All right, I'm done. Kirill, it's all your Shadow.
Nah, dude, this has been good. I put on my my listening ears, my listening hat here. I think you guys are dropping a lot of things. I just me and Alone actually DM personally, and I would never let anybody I've met here IRL. I would just anybody who ever formed an opinion of you guys before meeting you IRL, I would encourage them to meet you IRL. And that's just me. I just think that you could really tell a lot about a person in person, and online. It's just not enough, man. And I think as we get deeper into this technology world and these Apple goggles come out and people become more disconnected, we're gonna run into these issues, man. Like, you have to actually get out there, feel people's energy IRL, because they will surprise you. So I think what Tevi said, and Alone what you're saying, you guys are on par, man. Like, you got to meet people IRL to really understand what they're about. Forming opinions of people can be done online, but it doesn't give them a fair shot. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. Um, so anybody ever talks bad at any of you motherfuckers, I'm gonna back you up. I'm gonna say, nope, you got to meet Baron IRL. I've never met him IRL, but you got to meet him IRL. Alone, you got to meet him IRL. Anya, for sure, got to meet her IRL. Tevi, yeah, you got to meet him IRL. I've never have, but you got to. But Shadow, what's up, bro?
Yeah, just been sitting back listening, reflecting, and realizing that, oh, I forgot to I've been searching for so much information about the current, state of the community from outsiders' viewpoints. I forgot to use my tools to really listen to the views from people inside of the community. So I've been really enjoying hearing, kind of following along. So yeah, that's been really great. I do want to say one thing to what Tevi was saying, though. Obviously, I've not also met the founders. I just found out about Artifact about a month and a week ago. But I will say I've watched every live stream that I can get my hands on, Twitter Space wise and YouTube wise. And I could say I've been a part of projects where the founders are very corporate like and very uptight. I've been a part of projects where the founders were like, they didn't really seem like they really knew what was going on. They kind of seemed like someone told them to jump into a room and just kind of do it. Uh, these founders, the same as Tevi said, I get a good vibe from them, and they know what the fuck they're talking about, and they're very passionate about this. From the backgrounds of from CS:GO and skins and the shoe game and all their different backgrounds put together, and what they talk about, how they came to be, and what, like, they even were like honest about, like, oh man, we thought Nike was gonna sue us, but then it turns out Nike, they wanted to acquire us, things like that. It was real, and their passion and everything, I felt like, even though I have not physically met them in IRL, I feel comfortable, and I felt that what they were saying was genuine and not like meant to pump bags. I think even one that I watched, there was two on stage. I think Ben was not there. They were wearing the funny hats, and I think yeah, that was the one where they were talking about their project, and somebody asked them about like their floors, and they just were straight up. And I'm always interested in hearing what project founders think of current floor state, especially when it's high or low. At that point, you guys were trending on the downside, and they were like, look, we're hard at work to deliver what we promise. And we think that a few people, I don't want to use their words out of context, but I believe they said that, a few people are leaving, but we feel as though if we keep doing what we're doing, we'll see those floors again. And I was like, perfect. That's all. As a founder, that's all you need to worry about. Just work. Your proof will be in the pudding. And as long as you work and you deliver great shit, you don't have to worry about nothing else. The marketplace is for us. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that small bit. Yeah, I think the founders are great, and I haven't met them either.
That was the Silicon Valley interview. I know what you're talking about. I watched that again today.
Silicon Slopes. That's a good one. Out in Utah. I don't know how your hand always stays up when you raise it, Shadow. It's impressive though. Let's go to Kirill. Let's see what happens when his goes when he starts talking. Sorry, I'm bringing a little lightness to the situation.
No, it's all good. My phone works. I had a couple questions. So my friend's looking for a clone right now. He wants one of the ones with the fur jackets. I've been noticing something. There are very few males with the fur jacket kind of deal going on here. There's some really nice ones, but like once again, there's like a combination. I think he'd like the top hat with the fur jacket, and which was the other one? Where is it? There's one that Silly Tuna has, and obviously it has the VVS Panda chain, and it's like the green fur jacket, and it's a demon with a hat on. Does anyone have like contact with him and could possibly ask him if he would be willing to sell it? My friend's like trying to like diversify his portfolio, and like he's just seen on like all the cool commissions I've been able to do, and he's kind of wanting to go with a clone now to add it to his arsenal of assets because he has like a mutant, right? But like as people kind of are starting to realize, and it's not to be like a maxi or anything, but it's like look at my commission PFP and then look at everyone else's. Undefeated. Thank you.
Kirill, I'll put you on some alpha. There's an angel. Of course I know there's an angel. There's an angel with a pimp coat, fur jacket, black hair that I wanted before I got this PFP, and it's beautiful. So if he's looking for a pimp or a fur jacket and an angel with black hair, it's there. About 4 ETH.
It's 4 ETH. Could you
bro.
link me to it, please?
It's a grail, dude. If anybody was looking at that angel,
you know which one I was looking at? Remember the one with the rainbow smile, the Murakami drip angel? I'm not giving it up to him. I'm just trying to use a wallet that's not from like dev work profits and stuff. I might just have to do like a Coinbase Manfanglury or some shit and figure out how much I can send to Coinbase without verifying.
Yeah, I'll link you, bro. Canada's got you guys on lockdown. How much money you guys actually do? That's for the U.S.
So
betting, bro. Financial
What are they
control,
doing?
dude. They don't want us to have their shit.
What are they doing,
bro? Like right now, I'm only allowed to take out $1,000 per day. Okay, wire transfers.
From where?
I'm not allowed to do any wire transfers right now from any of my bank accounts. Like the way that we're already on CBDCs, okay, in Canada. That's what you guys have to understand. We have a centralized like banking here, man. Like, okay, there's this thing called email interact. It's like you can email somebody money, right? But they kind of like the most you can do per day is up to $3,000 per account, right? If you try and transfer more than $3,000, they'll lock your account for 2 days. For most banks, I think like the only one that doesn't do it is HSBC. That has email interact capability.
But aren't you not allowed to gift cash in Canada?
Well,
you can email transfer and you can pay.
But you can't like even gift
you
cash,
know like how
right?
they
like
have
in the US.
that thing where they could just seize your money if they find you driving with a bunch of money, like the civil forfeiture stuff.
Cash.
Like physical cash. It's always been like that here. Like that's something that people don't know because like I don't know how to put this, but like I've been driving around with large sums of cash. So like anytime I get stopped, I have to go to court and shit, and it usually takes between 3 weeks and 10 months, usually. You know, so you're paying lawyer, you're doing all this stuff. You don't get any of that money back. You can't sue them. The only person you can complain to is your friends on the internet that don't really give a shit because they're not gonna move to Canada for any particular reason.
Yo, Baron, SEC just filed a bunch of lawsuits against major exchanges here in the U.S. They're taking off a bunch of crypto off the exchanges. And guess what they're dropping in July? A payment system called FedNow, which is the federal government's version of a digital currency, a CBDC. But so first they're gonna sue all the major crypto exchanges, and then they're gonna come out with their own little digital currency. Don't use those ones. Ours is the one you need to use. Ours is the right one. You have to use ours now. Soon it'll be a requirement, man. July. It drops in July. Look it up. Weird timing that they would sue everybody in June and then drop it in July. Oh,
But they're trying to fire Gary Gensler though, right? So there's that
it's like
too.
one
You
senator
know,
trying to fire him, but yeah, there's a
hey,
lot.
this
It's
guy.
like one guy, but yeah, it's just weird timing that they would want to do that, dude. It's just it seems super dystopian to think about it here in the U.S., but Canada's already going through it. There's other countries that have full blown already going through.
Yeah, but what's he talking about with the wire limits and stuff? That sounds like
For
cocky.
crypto, they
Like
can only
I've
do
never.
like $3,000 at a time per month or something. They have like a crazy limit on how much crypto they can buy via wire transfer per month.
So the total amount that you can do for the year is $50,000, other than
Yeah, bro.
Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then that's kind of like tentative as well. So it's kind of a strange predicament. Yeah, things are not great.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
I used to trade Bitcoin in person with cash. You'd meet up at like a public parking lot, bro, and the guy would get in
Local
your
Bitcoins.
the guy would get in your
Yeah,
truck and you
you
hand him
want to hear a crazy?
$50,000, bro, and he would give you Bitcoin, right? Like
Yeah,
that's where we're going back to, dude.
I have
Like
the
that's so
craziest
sad.
story. So one time I had to meet a guy at a subway station, and this I didn't really think the guy had the money. I brought the Bitcoin though, because I'm always down to take a gamble. Yeah, so I made this guy get into a toilet stall, and fucking yeah, I counted that money in front of him. I made him sit in front of me, and I counted every last dollar of it, and I still have it inside the duffel bag to this day. I still haven't spent it. Yeah, I checked every bill. I UV lighted every bill too. It was pretty brutal, but you got to be safe.
How long ago was this,
This
girl?
sounds crazy to everybody.
This
No,
is
dude,
like 2014. So I think it was like either $750 or $900 a Bitcoin.
dude, I just did it in 2020, bro, like 2 years ago. Yeah.
What in the Breaking Bad are y'all talking about?
No,
This
yeah,
shit
it's a
is not.
website. It's like local trading, dude. You skip all the exchange fees, you get it like
You know,
sooner or
I
quick.
still have 100% like positive ranking, and
This,
that wasn't the only time I got crazy with people because, like, people. I wasn't like, I didn't understand that these people were just like nerds like me. I thought they were like not nerds and they were gonna try and rob me. Um, yeah, so yeah, but I still have 100% good ranking on there. I'm in good standing. So I might go out into the world and buy some Bitcoin.
this guy was definitely a nerd I traded with, dude, and he jumped in my truck and counted my money right there in the truck, and we had a long conversation, bro. He was super smart. He's a nice dude. Um, I'm not saying go and do it, but like I had a great experience. Let's go to the hands.
Y'all are on some like dark side of the
Bruh.
web type.
I thought they was
What are
Crazy.
they
joking this
talking
entire time.
about?
I thought they was playing. They for
No,
real.
we're dead
No, they're for
serious.
real, for real.
Well,
There's also this
the
forum
problem
called
is you guys.
Bitcoin Talk, and I went on Bitcoin Talk after I got my Bitfury chips, because I participated in their seed funding, and they just couldn't keep it together. Okay, I didn't even get PCBs for these chips. I basically got them on spools. So I got my entire investment back in spools, and I had to find a way to turn the spools into ASIC cards. So I went on this forum called Bitcoin Talk. Then I had to meet this foreign national at a fucking Tim Hortons. Okay. This shit was so crazy because I had 3 guys out in my vehicle waiting with my goddamn chips because that was like the most money I had ever seen in my life in the chips. This guy actually soldered the fucking shit in front of me and taught me how to do it. So that was one of the better fucking trust risk reward like situations I've ever been in.
Every time.
Man, I feel like I've been sheltered. You know, like when I talk to
Ew,
you
bro, you're
guys
not really a demon. You need to get
about
an angel, my
crypto.
friend. Because
Nah,
I've been
no, that would
demon
give
time my whole
compound too
life.
much satisfaction. Nah, I think my demon's perfect, but I think it's all about balance. Just because I'm a demon doesn't mean I have to be like acting like one all the time.
I think,
You
You
tell
know,
that to my PFP.
dude, I think that as a demon, you should set aside a day where you just kick it with alone, because this guy is knowledgeable on what this world is up to, and it would blow your mind, Tevy. It would blow your mind. Um, yeah. What's up? Oh, wait, did Polly get to go? Polly, hi.
nah, I cut her off.
Oh, hey
Sorry,
guys.
Polly.
Sorry, I got distracted with the group chat as well. Every time you're getting into this exciting conversations about your Web3 journey or like these crypto related stories, I wish I can understand or relate more. Um, yeah, because at some point the information just blurs and it's the emotional enhancement that like perceiving or like sensing or embodying. It's so interesting. So my children are on a school break, so we have a little bit of prompt generating time, and just by witnessing how they try to challenge ChatGPT, like for instance, Marvin told ChatGPT to repeat numbers that he wanted, but he wanted to see if the machine can do it like 100 times, or like he was very and then he would like prove it and count them. So he was like still um had had a sense that he needs to double check the information given, and then it's progressed to him challenging ChatGPT with like the complex word that he knows that I would struggle to spell. But of course, before he would say, the prompt would say spell gibberish or like spell other word, and he would spell it himself, and then the ChatGPT would like break it down to little letters, and they will be like all caps with slashes between them, and it would make them feel so happy. So first of all, I found out like what are the main topics they're interested in right now, because like they wanted to interact with the machine on those topics, and it inspired me to like engineer some prompts around the concept of philosophy, quantum physics, fairy tales. And in one day I made this like entire library of like things I love, and I just feel so understood. I don't think any other relationship outside of children made me as happy as this thing is. It's surprising. So guys, are you hanging out in Midjourney? I know that Rose does. Did you ever try to prompt?
Come on.
Sorry, I was in the DMs. Yeah, I'm actually in like a Discord for professional prompters. What's this thing called?
Can you send me a link? Wow. Do they have like
Yeah.
their own Midjourney bot?
Yeah, they have something like that in their Midjourney channel. They also I'll put it in are you inside of the Bad Take Discord?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put it in the creators channel.
Thank
It's
you.
in the creator. You're very welcome. Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of strange, but it's very interesting.
I encourage everyone to try. It's like seeing your imagination augmented, and you can also apply this style of artist that you admire and also like remix between them. Like you can get lost for days. It's incredible.
I gotta dive into Midjourney. Let me know what you guys make. Let's go to Alone. What's up, Alone?
Yo, what's up? I'm going to jump down in a second because I have to get work done. I just wanted to come up and like speak as to what happened over the weekend first and foremost, but a couple of things that I want to touch on before. There's a cool feature in Midjourney. I believe it's called Describe, where you can, let's say, take a piece of art. Let's say you can take one of your own pieces of art and you could put it in there, and I think it's like the / or whatnot describe. And what it's going to do, it's going to generate a prompt based on what the image you've put into Midjourney is. So it's kind of like a cool way to reverse engineer, let's say, your own artwork to see how the AI algorithm perceives it, so that you can kind of learn subsequently how to prompt better. So that's something that you might want to look into, Polly. It's kind of cool. And then touching upon Kuro's thing, not that I want to bring it back to that, but I'm going to. I think, ultimately, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox too long with this, I think it comes down to us like not accepting these things, not accepting CBDCs. I know they're going to try to make it really hard, but I think it comes down to not accepting digital IDs. And I know Alt's down there, he stands like with Luxo being, digital identity, a valid form of doing that and all that, which is true. But I think it's an interesting convergence between how we find ourselves in the age of AI, where all of a sudden with the advent of AI, people are like, well, how am I going to prove I'm real with all these deep fakes? And that ties into the whole need, quote unquote, for a digital identity. So it's interesting how all these things are converging. And there's this initiative, it's called the Better Than Cash Alliance. So it's a United Nations initiative, and it was started in 2012. And the whole purpose of the Better Than Cash Alliance was to shift the world over from cold hard cash, like paper money that you can hold in your hands, or coins, whatever, to digital money, which we see happening right now. And like I said, it's United Nations backed. It is, if you look into it, you'll see things like sustainable development goals, the 2030 agenda. Anytime you guys see anything with sustainable development, it basically means global tyranny. It's just like a catchphrase for global tyranny. I want sustainable shit as much as anyone else does. I'm actually like a hippie, you know. I compost and do all that stuff. But my point being is like those are buzzwords, and this Better Than Cash Alliance thing. This has all been planned years in advance. Like I said, United Nations 2012, like we're all already 11 years like into the creation of this. And the same players, whether you believe me or not, people like Bill Gates, they're all involved. They have their hands all over this. And ultimately it comes down to like not taking these digital ideas like that California driver's license, like you were saying before, I think it was compound real ID. All those things are little stepping stones towards like a centralized identification system. And now I don't know, if we're going to be able to escape it because of the whole advent of AI. But I would just like, as my parting words on my soapbox, I would just kind of like, beckon everyone here to think about it and think about kind of what kind of world you want to live in, because ultimately it's really up to us. You know what I mean? They're going to try and force it and make it convenient. And, I love digital stuff, but, there's a certain way the digital world is bringing us towards this like prison, and, Canada's already a dictatorship. Most people just don't know it, and it's happening in the United States as well. And I know Americans are all like, that'll never happen here, you know, but it is happening. And, you know, I just think that as people being aware of this, as people being more entrenched in like finances and in technology, you know, whether or not you like that I'm saying this, I feel compelled to have to, like, I feel like I have to say it because these conversations need to kind of start somewhere. Doesn't mean we need to keep talking about it here in this, like, in this space right now. But I mean, it's up to us, man. We're all gods and goddesses, and if we don't like claim that power, you know, it's going to get taken away from us. And the choice is up to us. And you know, the line is a fine line to walk. You know, the tightrope is like a thin one, right? But I think it all starts there, you know, and it starts with these conversations, and that's why I say these things, not because I want to be that annoying guy that like spoils the party, but because I think it's actually important, you know, because I don't have kids, but I want like the little kids growing up to be able to have a good life, you know, as much as I've had a good life when I was a kid growing up. And I don't see that happening if things keep moving forward in the way that we're being like corralled in the direction we're being corralled to, you know. And I just want people to be aware of it, you know. And it's not to like spoil the party, but you know, we saw what they did in Canada with the truckers protest. They froze bank accounts. I mean, if that's not a fucking dictatorship, I don't know what is, man. Because governments shouldn't be able to touch their money. They're our fucking public servants. They're not our fucking, they're not our dictators. They work for us. It's not the other way around. And that's what I have to say. And I'm going to step down because I got to get some work done. But again, I apologize for my actions in the chat. I love you all, and I appreciate you all for being accepting, you know, of my shortcomings, and you know, being willing to like hear me out, you know. So thank you guys.
Dude, Alone's on point. He's on point because a lot of people in Web3 and NFTs forget where this whole culture stemmed from, Bitcoin, and separating ourselves from the financial system, being able to transact freely without needing the big banks and without needing the government. That's where the entire culture that you guys love and know right now here in NFT stemmed from a bunch of people who were fed up with the financial system and being reliant on the banks. So Bitcoin was created, and that's where we all come from. So I think it's important, no matter how much people don't want to hear it, but it's an important reminder to, especially now as you see um, control happening and them taking more of your financial freedoms and trying to implement their own system. Just a reminder, kind of where this all came from and where we all stem from, why the blockchain was invented in the first place. Shout out Alone, man, keeping it real. Holly, what's up?
I thought it would be a perfect time to mention Bitcoin, but also, so if we assume that to some extent our behavior or thought processing or emotional reaction is programmed, I would think it first of all arises from the language model that we use. And with having exposure to coding and people who are doing it, like performing it to the extent of art, and like mostly like we have interaction with these developers on a daily basis, and that in a way help you to think differently or to adopt different principles. So I feel like Web3 is such a unique like environment, playground. We can actually evolve and advance together, and also like help people become more aware of what is going on.
I agree. And if Bitcoin bringing out art on the blockchain and ordinals in their way brings people to the chain in general or into our realm, right? Proving that what we love, right, art on the blockchain and NFTs can be done on Bitcoin, it benefits us all. But any kind of any kind of technology built on any of these blockchains that aren't controlled by a central government is important to me. Like that is exactly what they don't want, right? They don't want us transacting on something they can't control, and it's exactly why they're rolling out something they do have control over, something they can print however much they want to on it and see all your transactions. So it's important to remember where this all stemmed from, in my opinion, and don't lose sight of that. Even if some cool new payment system comes out, don't lose sight of where this culture stemmed from. And on that note, I'm going to end it for tonight. It's been so good. It's been a great discussion. Probably one of our best in a while. I appreciate you all coming out, providing to the discussion. I learned a bunch tonight. Dre Millie, you got anything for us?
Nike.
Oh, that's
I don't.
already good.
I don't.
All right, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.
Nike. Buy
Appreciate
Nike.
that.
Good night.
Just buy Nike.